welcome to Joe Hicks Memorial Field. We're on the campus of Long Beach City College getting ready for our very first game here of the season. It'll be the Inland Valley Buccaneers taking on the Long Beach Legends Red Squad. Both programs are really reaching their pinnacles right now. Of course, the Inland Valley program, which we so very much love here on InlandValleyBaseball.com, has 3 different squads. Meanwhile, the Legends, they have 2 collegiate squads and then 2 other basically minor league squads that they also have. Talking to their manager, Jonathan Rodriguez of the Blue Squad, and also the founder. Of course, the founder for the Inland Valley Baseball Association is none other than Charlie Reynoso. He's also the manager for the Inland Valley Pirates. But this is an Inland Valley Buccaneer game, and this season for the Buccaneers, of course, led by Kevin Bowler, the manager, is going to be very interesting, very, very intriguing, to say the least. Last year was the first season of the program, and now here we are for the second season, and there's a lot of hope for this year, a lot of great new players, great new talent coming to the Buccaneers. The Inland Valley Bucks are wearing the black shirts today, white pants, black socks. Meanwhile, the Legends Red Squad are in the aforementioned red tops, white pants, red caps with the blue bills. Once again, we are just getting started here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. Game time is at 4:30 as the hurler, the right-handed hurler from the Long Beach Legends, warms up and takes his final few warm-up pitches. The pitcher for the Legends is John Stevens, wearing number 36, 6'0", 190-pound right-handed pitcher from Cypress College, where he redshirted this past season. Now, we're going to just kind of get you squared away with the new format. It is a new format. We've never had video before, as we actually are going to get started a couple minutes early here. But this is the first time we've ever had video in our 3 years, so we hope you enjoy that. It is a stationary webcam that'll be basically right behind home plate. It's off-center to a little bit, but there you see it right there. We'll move it a little bit over. And here we are. We're underway. First pitch low and away for ball 1-0, and we are ready for some baseball from Joe Hicks Memorial Field on the campus of Long Beach City College. The 1-0, low and away, ball 2. 2-0 the count here to Tristan Chamberlain. Tristan Chamberlain, the center fielder here today, leading off for the Buccaneers. Chamberlain, 5'6", 155, left-handed hitter, takes on the outside corner, strike 1. 2-1 the count. Well, this field in the past has affectionately been referred to as a hitter's graveyard. Huge, huge. And this is a ground ball chopped over to the shortstop. He catches a high chopper and fires across the diamond for the first out. Johnson to Levine, and 1 away here for the Buccaneers in the top of the first inning. Here's the Buccaneers starting lineup. It's Chamberlain, who just grounded out to short. Riley batting second, who was an all-star last season for the Buccaneers. Then we've got Ryan Cordova batting in the 3-hole. Matt Major, the cleanup hitter. Herschel Gardner batting fifth. Johnny Juarez in the 6-hole. J.P. Hopkins, Blake Vandegrift, and Anthony Seminaris rounds out the Buccaneer lineup. First pitch missing upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Kevin Riley. Riley takes low, 2-0. Kevin Riley actually had to redshirt this past season. He tore his hamstring, but the previous year as a freshman at Chaffey College, he absolutely tore it up. And we saw last summer how well he played for the Buccaneers. First, this pitch he swings at, high fly ball to deep left field, going back on a horse, and he will not be able to make the catch as the left fielder out there stream. And Kevin Riley on his horse for a stand-up double and the first hit of the Buccaneers season. So Kevin Riley driving it deep into left center field over towards that 380 sign. We mentioned this is a large park, and the winds are swirling here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. 342 down the line, 350 down the right field line. To give you some semblance of kind of what that's like, I mean, at Dodger Stadium, it's 330 down each line. So you've got 342 down the left field and 350 down the right field, 380 into the power gaps, and 403 to dead center. And you can see dead center out in the distance on our stream. It is not only 403, but it is about 20 feet high. So that would be a major drive to take it out there. Pickoff throw over to second. Getting dirty is Riley. Riley safe after that double to left center, going all the way back to the wall. And here is Ryan Cordova for his first ever at bat for the Inland Valley Baseball Association. Of course, the Bucs, one of 3 teams, as this one misses low and away. 2 teams in the SCCBL, 1 in the OCCL. The other team is another Buccaneers team that will face this Legends team 2 or 3 times in the OCCL schedule. These 2 teams will meet twice, though, one here and one at Cal Poly Pomona. Checking the runner, now firing, is the right-handed pitcher for the Legends, and it misses low and away for a ball. So John Stevens will go right back to work and work over the mound a little bit. As, just to mention now, it is 4:30. We got a little bit of an early start time. We got a 4:26 official start. The first hitter was Tristan Chamberlain. He grounded out to short. The second hitter, Kevin Riley, doubled to left center. This one is going to be a pass ball that gets past the catcher and advancing 90 feet into third base is Kevin Riley. As Ryan Cordova alertly lets that pitch go by, and it's 3-0 to him. Ryan Cordova, 6'1", 200-pound right-handed hitter from Youngstown State. He's a redshirt sophomore. Just coming back from his conference tournament last weekend in the Division I ranks. This one paints the inside, called strike 1, 3-1 the count. Taking all the way was Ryan Cordova. Speaking of that D1 player who's in the box right now, this season we have more than we've ever had before at the Inland Valley Baseball Association. This one's swung on, high fly ball. It's foul, but will it be playable down the first base line? No, it gets out of play and bounces over the fence into the adjacent football stadium, which is right down the first base line here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. Also, down the third base line, you've got a parking lot. Some people will be pressing their luck as this one bounces in the dirt. Ball 4. Good at bat, good patient at bat right there for Ryan Cordova. And we've got runners on the corners, 1 out, top of the first inning, and the cleanup hitter, Matt Major, comes to the plate. Well, I can tell you that at the tryout, we had a tryout on Memorial Day. He turned a few heads with his bat, so let's see what he does here for his first ever plate appearance for the Buccaneers. Matt is 6'0", 210-pound right-handed hitter. Plays at Mount Sac, where he will be a sophomore next season. Here's the pitch. This one's called a strike, and it's 0-1. Matt hit .241 this past season over at Mount Sac. Of course, Mount Sac, if you're not familiar with them, they're a JC right down the road for Cal Poly Pomona, probably about half a mile. This one called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Stealing on the play was Ryan Cordova. So now you got 2 men in scoring possession here for the Buccaneers. Top of the first inning, just underway, 0-2 the count, 1 out. But ducks on the pond here for Matt. Here's the pitch. Swings at it and bounces it to the right side, and he gets the job done. That's situational hitting as the first run of the season scores for the Inland Valley Buccaneers, and they take a 1-0 lead. Credit the RBI to Major, as it is a ground ball to the second baseman. Also advancing 90 feet on the play is Ryan Cordova over towards third base, and that's exactly what you wanted to do. We said it's in that situation. You got a 1-out situation. If you had a ground ball to the middle infielders or a pop fly to the outfield, you score the run, and you don't even have to necessarily get the hit. Here's the pitch to Herschel Gardner. He takes low and outside. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. Herschel Gardner, large left-handed hitter from Northeastern State. Herschel Gardner, 6'3", 240. He will be staying with Kevin Bowler, the manager, for the season, as this one bounces into the dirt, a 59-footer, also outside, and it's 2-0. So there's going to be some interesting, I'm sure, scenarios between Coach Kevin Bowler, who is down the third base line, and Herschel Gardner. Gardner is also going to be joined by Blake Van Griff over at Coach Bowler's house. Here's the 2-0. This one just paints the outside for a called strike, and it's 2-1. Herschel Gardner agreeing with the call, shook his head yes in approval. Gardner's hometown is Aledo, Texas, went to Aledo High School. Very, very strong football program there in Texas. Here's the pitch. And this one just misses low for ball 3, and it's 3-1. The umpire communicating that it was low. At first I thought it might have been a bit outside, but said it was a low. And this is a hitter's pitch right here. 3-1 the count. Runner on third base is Cordova. And this one misses low for ball 4. 5-pitch walk drawn by Herschel Gardner as the Bucs dugout getting vocal for the very first time. Runners on the corners here for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. So first and third, 2 outs, top of the first inning. And here comes another returning player for the Buccaneers, the catcher, Johnny Juarez. Juarez from Mount Sac, as the catcher sets up on the outside of the corner. And this one misses low for a ball. 1-0 the count to the 5'11", 195-pound right-handed hitter. This past season out, Mount Sac had a .299 batting clip, so very solid season there at the junior college level. He's one of these juniors, or will be a junior, as this one paints the outside. Called strike 1, 1-1 the count. He's going to take this summer very seriously as a junior, looking for a permanent home for his final 2 years of college. Not rocking batting gloves. Very few guys do that nowadays, as this one misses low, and it's 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the first inning. 1-0 the score. Buccaneers leading the Legends. And here we go. 2-1 pitch. The right-handed pitcher comes set. That's John Stevens. Fires. This one's grounded to the right side. Will it get through? No. Nice glove play made by the second baseman, Moore, ranging deep in the hole and firing over to first base for the final out of the inning. So good range there shown by Moore. But at the end of 1/2 inning, the Bucs have done a little bit of damage. They plate 1 run. It's 1-0 here on the Inland Valley Baseball Network. And we'll step away for a few moments. So 1-0 score here as we work our way towards the bottom of the first inning. Just getting set for this season. This is our first broadcast, first game as well. Of course, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast we now have 3 teams this year. This is the first game for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. The Inland Valley Pirates start their first game tomorrow. In fact, they have a doubleheader at Cal Poly Pomona. Both will be on our air. And the OC Buccaneers actually have played 2 games, and they split their first 2. They also play at Cal Poly Pomona, but the reason they're called the OC Buccaneers is because they will be competing in the Orange County Collegiate League, which, of course, the Legends are a member of. So here we go, bottom of the first inning. Alex Bernstein, the man on the mound here for the Pirates, fires on the outside corner, called strike 1, 0-1 the count. Alex Bernstein from University of Laverne. We have a few Leopards on both teams, really, on both the Buccaneers and the Pirates, as this one misses low. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. On this team, you've got Bernstein, and you have also got Diego Cortez. both pitchers, a righty and a lefty, mixing it up there, as this one misses inside for ball one. 2-1 the count, rather. This is Tanner Moore, the second baseman, who made the nice play to his glove side to end the first inning. Painting the black on the outside is this fastball, and it's now 2-2. After Moore, it'll be Tiedemann, then it'll be Conlon, Ariano, Stream, Levine, Sanchez, Simino, and Johnson. He's trying to square this one up. And this one actually will be hitting the batter. So Tanner Moore is plunked by the pitch by Bernstein, and the Legends have their first base runner of the day here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the defensive arrangement out there for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Going left to right across the outfield, it's Seminaris, Chamberlain, and Hopkins. As Tiedemann comes up to the plate, the center fielder for the Legends. Called strike on the outside, and it's 0-1. Tiedemann, really a tall, slender right-handed hitter for the Long Beach Legends. 6'5", 195. As this one misses low, and it's 1-1. Tiedemann will be a freshman here at Long Beach City College, so getting acquainted with this field that he will call home for at least the next year, if not two. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled down the first base line. 1-2 the count. Going left to right across the infield is Major, Riley, Vandegrift, Cordova, and behind the dish is Juarez. Bernstein working out of the stretch, comes set, the runner bluffs, ground ball down the third base line, foul. And it will remain 1-2 here to tie Tiedemann. As Alex Bernstein, as we mentioned, the right-handed pitcher from Laverne, 6'3", 200 pounds. Made 22 appearances this past season for that team. Here's the pitch. Blown away, ball two. 2-2 the count. University of Laverne had a great run in the SCIAC tournament. Ended up defeating the host Cal Lutheran, who was favored. In fact, not a teammate of Bernstein here for the Bucs, but a member of the Pirates. Brett Early had a great tournament, as this one swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line. We'll do it again, another 1-2 pitch to come. But Brett Early was really their ace of the staff and proved it time and time again. In fact, towed the rubber in the first round of the D3 tournament against Trinity in Texas and shut them down cold. The #1 seed of the Western Regional, who was hosting, and Brett Early shut them down. 8 innings. This one misses low. It's a full count, as the home plate umpire was stressing before. It was actually 2-2 that whole time and not 1-2, and this one misses low and away. So that's now ball 4, and that'll be a walk drawn here for Ty Tiedemann. So a shaky start here for Alex Bernstein, plunking the first batter he faced, and now walking the second batter in Tiedemann after a pretty long at-bat. Here comes Brady Conlon, the third baseman for the Legends. Bernstein comes set, checks the runner at second, fires, breaking pitch, missing low, ball 1. 1-0 the count. We mentioned that Bernstein made a lot of appearances for Laverne, 22 appearances, had a 3.46 ERA, 39 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts. This is going to be a wild pitch as it gets past Johnny Juarez, and both runners advance up 90 feet. So now both in scoring position here for the Long Beach Legends with no outs in the bottom of the first inning. So an eventful first inning, to say the very least, already for both teams. The Buccaneers had a bunch of guys on base, in fact stranded 2 in the top half of the inning, and now here I guess the Bucs would hope that the Legends would end up stranding 2, but that's not going to happen. That's a ground ball up the middle, and the second baseman Vandegrift will not be able to handle it, so that'll be an infield base hit as a run scores, and it's now a 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the first. So Brady Conlon with the RBI single up the middle. And here comes Daniel Ariano, the right fielder from Riverside Community College. On deck is Justin Stream, the left fielder. First pitch missing down for ball one. 1-0 the count here. 6'2", 205 right-handed hitter is Daniel. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled down the right field line and out of play. 1-1 the count. Alex Bernstein's major at University of Laverne is business, and he's certainly going to have to go about his business here to try to keep the Legends off the scoreboard again with runners on the corners and no outs, bottom of the first inning. Checks his swing, but it doesn't matter because it's called a strike on the inside, and it's 1-2 as the dugout like that. Heard a little bit of fire over there. Bernstein comes set. Here's the pitch. Another off-speed pitch that hangs high and too high towards the head of Daniel Ariano. And it's 2-2 to number 2-2. This will be an interesting game, to say the least, for the Buccaneers. This one is lined into right field, and that'll get down in the gap for a base hit. Here comes one run to score, and rounding third and being waved home by Cody Yates is another runner, and it's going to be 3-1 Legends as the throw goes to third, not in time. And so that'll be a 2-run triple by Daniel Ariano. As scoring on the play were Ty Tiedemann and Brady Conlon. And so 3 runs in now here for the Legends in the bottom of the first inning, still no outs. And up comes Justin Stream, the left fielder from Monterey College. Justin Stream, 6'0", 205 pounds, is a redshirt freshman there at Monterey. Appeal over to first, and nothing doing over there. We actually have, as I looked over at the umpire who they appealed to, we actually have 3 umpires on the field today. That's a line drive down the first base line, foul. You normally don't see 3 umpires in a summer collegiate league non-conference game. So that's a good thing because there won't be any missed calls. Here's the 0-1, swung on and missed, 0-2. Alex Bernstein's hometown is Claremont. You have a lot of guys from around that area, Claremont, Chino Hills, Pomona. Makes sense, of course, playing your home games at Cal Poly Pomona. Ground ball right side. That's going to get through for a base hit. And in comes another run. It's now 4-1 Legends as we have another RBI, this time for Justin Stream. And that's really what you have to do. I mean, just hit it to where they're not. And even if that ended up being a play that Blake Vandegrift could handle over there at second base, it still would have got the job done. So that's exactly what you want to do in that situation. You want to go to the right side of the field if you're the Legends. And that's exactly what Stream did. 4-1 the score, still bottom of the first. This pitch misses outside for a ball, and it's 1-0. Well, we were starting to say that Bernstein is from Claremont, went to Claremont High School, where he was a very good student. 4-time all-academic selection. Line drive to the left side, and that is caught. A leaping grab made by Major, the third baseman. And that is finally the first out here in the inning off the bat of Levine of the Legends. As the number 7 hitter in the lineup, Sebastian Sanchez, comes to the plate. He is the designated hitter for these Legends, wearing number 55, 6'0", 175 pounds, and he is hitting the left shoulder, and he will take a base, as that's the second hit batter here in the first inning by Bernstein. And now here comes Kevin Bowler out for a conference, and I'm not too sure, he might not get the hook, might Bernstein. Well, the cool thing about the Legends program while we're playing against them is they have a lot of guys who come back and really give back to the program, as Danny Haley is handing the on-deck batter some batting gloves. Danny Haley, who's wearing number 44, walking back down that first base line, was one of their better players for the Legends over the past number of years, 2-3 years. Perennial all-star, and was really just a great player. And the manager of this team is down the third base line wearing number 34. His name's Cody Yates, both playing for Cal State Dominguez Hills in their collegiate careers. And Cody Yates was more of a closer his first couple years with the Legends, before, I believe, becoming more of a starter last year. Didn't get the chance to see them as much last year because they moved on to the Orange County Collegiate League, while the Pirates and Buccaneers, of course, are still in the Southern California Collegiate Baseball League. As Michael Cimino comes to the plate, the catcher from Golden West. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side, hit at Vandegrift. Vandegrift to Riley. Riley over to first, and that'll be a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. So a nice job there on the backhanded pick over at first base by Cordova as well. And the Buccaneers are finally out of what was really a nightmare bottom of the first inning. After getting one run in the top of the first and feeling good about, your first inning of the season, the Legends come back with 4 in the bottom half, and that's the score, 4-1, as we head to the top of the second here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 2 we go here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. 4-1 the score. The Buccaneers trailing to the Long Beach Legends. Here's J.P. Hopkins, and he takes low and inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. 7-8-9 in the lineup is where we're at for the Buccaneers. So the Bucs did send 6 up in that first inning, but ended up stranding a couple base runners. Working out of the windup. Here's the pitch from Stevens. Ground ball left side, straight at the third baseman, Conlon. Conlon fields cleanly and fires across the diamond for the first out here in the second inning. So 5-3 if you're scoring at home. The second straight ground ball out for the Buccaneers. Of course, rounding out to end the last inning was Johnny Juarez. He grounded out to the right side of the infield, though. And here comes Blake Vandegrift. Blake Vandegrift, the second baseman, turning that double play to get out of the inning back in the first inning. Vandegrift, 6'2", 175, takes strike 1, and it's 0-1. I mentioned him a little bit earlier when Herschel Gardner was batting, because they are teammates at Northeastern State. Both will be sophomores next season. This one misses low and inside and hits off the fence. And if you're watching at home, you might have just seen a little bit of shaking on your screen, because we are very close to that fence. Of course, if you're watching at home also, you know that this is really our first ever broadcast where we are streaming live video. Swung on and missed, breaking pitch that fooled the hitter Blake Vandegrift, and it's 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the second inning. 4-1 the score. Vandegrift is from Owasso, Oklahoma, to Owasso High School. Here's the pitch to the right-handed hitter, and it misses low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. And at this stage, when it's 4-1, you're thinking maybe you want to see a few more pitches if you're the Buccaneers and see the entire repertoire that this pitcher Stevens has to bring. This one is another breaking pitch that's swung on and missed in the dirt, and he might make it to first. Yes, he does. He makes it to first, but I believe he's going to be called out anyways, because I believe the ruling is that he kicked the baseball. And that's exactly what we're going to have by the home plate umpire. So Van Griff is retired. First strikeout of the game for John Stevens. And the second out here in the second inning, as Kevin Bowler down the third base line will have a little talk with the home plate umpire. Kevin Bowler, in his second season with the Buccaneers, of course this is the second season for the program as well. Last season struggling a little bit, 11-19-1, and you could attribute a lot of the struggles to having a lot of freshmen. They're all the returning players now are sophomores or juniors here for this Inland Valley Buccaneer team. But another thing is how great the competition was in the SCCBL last year. I mean, you looked at it in every single game, you were playing somebody that was great, almost like a juggernaut of a schedule. And you look at the Pirates and the Power and Team San Diego. And now this year, on top of that, you have the San Diego Force joining the league. Of course, it's going to be one of the best leagues at all, especially in California. Nice backhanded grab made by Stevens, and he fields well and throws over to the first baseman, Levine, for the final out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning after the Legends plated 4 in the bottom half of the first. And it remains a 4-1 score, Bucks trailing here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. As we head to the bottom of the second inning here at Long Beach City College. 4-1 the score if you're just joining us. The Legends on top of the Buccaneers. If you're also just joining us, we did have a little bit of an early start, about 5 minutes earlier than was originally scheduled, about a 4:25 start instead of the 4:30. But first inning was really a struggle for Alex Bernstein, who is now out of the game for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. 8 hitters came to the plate in that first inning, and as we mentioned, 4 runs being scored. This now is a southpaw for the Buccaneers. Fastball called strike 1, 0-1 the count. The southpaw is Hopkins here for the Buccaneers. Jonathan Hopkins. Here's the 0-1, late kick in the pitch, high and away, ball 2. So Jonathan Hopkins, 6'5", 220, left-handed pitcher from Pasadena City College, where he played the past 2 seasons, so he'll be a junior next year. Fastball swung on and line foul down the first base line, and it's 1-2. So another one of these guys that we mentioned is really looking to turn heads this summer, being a junior who played at a junior collegiate team the last 2 years, looking to find a home for his final 2 years of eligibility. Off-speed pitch, bounced over towards the shortstop Riley, fields cleanly, and another nice pick made over at first base. Backhanded grab over there by Cordova, and that'll be the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. 6 3 on the putout, Riley to Cordova. And back to the top of the lineup we go for the Legends. That's Tanner Moore, the second baseman, who started things off by getting hit by a pitch and wound up scoring. So lefty on lefty action here as this one misses low and away, 1-0 the count. A lot of unforced errors for Bernstein. Speaking of that hits batter, he hit 2 batters in that first inning and also issued a walk. This one swung on and jams the hitter Moore, and it's fouled behind home plate over towards the third base side and to the adjacent parking lot where some of the fans here are testing their luck. There have been foul balls known to hit some cars out there before. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and this one I believe may have even been behind the batter, and it's now 2-1 as he's kind of chuckling is the leadoff hitter Tanner Moore. Tanner Moore, 5'8", 175-pound redshirt freshman from here, Long Beach City College. Lines this one straight back towards our broadcast. And a good thing we have a fence protecting us, and of course the computer, because if we didn't, that could have been end game. 1-2 the count here as the left-handed pitcher dangles his arm. Now comes set. That, of course, Jonathan Hopkins. Fastball overthrown on the outside and low for a ball. So Tanner Moore doing what a good leadoff hitter does, extending the count, making it 2-2, showing good plate discipline here for the Long Beach Legends. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A wicked breaking pitch for strike 3, and that'll be the second out here in the inning. And you talk about your sort of 12-6 breaking balls. Wow, did that ball drop in no time as Ty Tiedemann comes to the plate, the center fielder. Another guy very familiar with this batter's box because he is a Long Beach City College player. Swings at the first pitch he sees and hits it off the edge of the bat foul over towards the first base dugout. And the Inland Valley Buccaneers, of course, stationed in that first base dugout. So it's 0-1. Hopkins comes set, fires, fastball high and away, ball 1, 1-1 the count. This past season at Pasadena City College, he made 11 appearances and had 20 strikeouts in those 23 innings that he pitched in, so a high number of strikeouts in innings played. This is a little fly ball to center field, and charging in and making the grab is Chamberlain for the routine fly ball out. So that'll be the third and final out here of the inning, and the side is retired in order by the pitcher Jonathan Hopkins. And we'll head to the top of the third. 4-1 the score. Legends on top. Welcome back to Joe Hicks Memorial Field. The Buccaneers and Legends doing battle here as we head to the top of the third inning. Here is the first pitch from Stevens, and it's called a strike, a fastball. 0-1 the count. So 0-1 the count here to Tristan Chamberlain, who is actually the leadoff hitter in the lineup for the Buccaneers. Left-handed hitter with an open stance. Swings at this one, and it's a fly ball foul and out of play down the third base line. So 0-2 the count. Quickly falling behind is Chamberlain to John Stevens. Stevens selling smoothly so far here for the Legends. Although in the first inning there were a lot of base runners on, but he did get out of it pretty much unscathed, only allowing one run, as this one's a backdoor breaking ball that misses low for a ball. 1-2 the count. Nice block by the catcher, Semino. Chamberlain might be very familiar with a lot of guys in the red. He plays at Long Beach City College, as this one misses outside, and it's 2-2. He will be a sophomore for Long Beach City College next season. Hometown is Long Beach, so he's a Long Beach type of guy. He should feel at home here in this batter's box. He's 0 for 1 on the day, takes low, and it's ball 3, and that's what a good leadoff hitter does. Always seeing a lot of pitches, extending counts, and giving the entire dugout a good idea of exactly what this pitcher has to offer. But of course, going through the lineup now, everybody has seen some pitches. As this one misses, oh, it's called a strike on the inside corner. Looked like Chamberlain was actually kind of doing a little bit of a brushback action, thinking that it was too far inside, but he gets rung up by the home plate umpire. That is the second strikeout of the day for John Stevens, as Kevin Riley comes to the dish. Kevin Riley, really the leader of this team last year in 2014. Takes a breaking pitch in the dirt, bouncing off home plate, and it's 1-0. 6'1", 185-pounder, as we mentioned. Didn't play this past season because he tore his hamstring at the beginning of the season, so he redshirted this last year. So he'll be a redshirt sophomore next year, as this one misses inside, and it's 2-0. He is 1 for 1. Hit the ball to deep left center field, over the head of the left fielder out there, Stream, who looks like he's pretty deep right now. Here's the pitch, and it misses low and away. 3-0 the count. So maybe the Legends thinking that they don't want to maybe make a mistake here against Riley, who has really done the only damage of the day so far for the Buccaneers. In fact, he has the only hit for the Buccaneers so far. And he swings on a 3-0, and he hits it through the hole on the left side, and that's a base hit. And rounding first and staying put there is Riley. So now 2 base knocks for Riley. And he is 2 for 2, so he's batting 1,000 on the season. But you don't see too many green light 3-0 pitches, but Kevin Bowler testing his luck there and trusting in Kevin Riley, who, as we mentioned, was an SCCBL All-Star last year, led the team with a .368 batting clip, so he knows what he's doing at the plate. In the stretch is Stevens checking the runner, and now coming set and throwing over to first. And wow, that was a quick move, as getting dirty was Kevin Riley. Tag couldn't be applied in time to tag him out. Here is Ryan Cordova. Cordova walked in the first inning and stole second base. Runners off. This one missed low and away, and that'll be a stolen bag for Kevin Riley, as Semino couldn't transition the ball from glove to hand and kind of lost it. So the Buccaneers get a runner in scoring position here for Ryan Cordova. Ryan Cordova, one of the big new pickups for this season for the Inland Valley Buccaneers, as we mentioned in his first at-bat. Here is the pitch, low and away, and it gets past the catcher, and going over to third and sliding head first is Kevin Riley. A great job at reading that ball, reading it in the dirt, and even though it bounced maybe a foot away from the catcher, Riley able to go to third base on the passed ball. So it's 2-0 now. Good hitter's pitch here to take advantage of if you're Ryan Cordova. And all of a sudden, John Stevens has lost a little bit of control. He comes set, leg kick, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Swung over the top of it, did Cordova, and it's 2-1. Cordova is a major in criminal justice at Youngstown State. Hometown Whittier, went to Lucerna High School. Catcher's setting up on the outside corner. Here's the pitch. This one's lined down the left field line for a base hit. In comes Kevin Riley. It's now 4-2. Rounding first and headed in the second with a stand-up double is Cordova. And so the Bucs put together a couple hits in a row. And they have now cut the deficit to 2. Riley scoring on the play. Cordova with the RBI double. And so that'll be the third base knock here for the Buccaneers. The first not by Kevin Riley, but the Bucs looking to really take advantage of their heart of their lineup now, and the cleanup hitter at the plate and Matt Major. Matt actually had an RBI in his first at bat. It was an RBI ground out to the right side. It was one of those situational hitting plays. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 1-0 the count. Situational hitting where you have one out and you want to basically either hit a high fly ball to deep in the outfield or a ground ball to, the right side of the infield, and that's what he did. And drove in the run. Here's the pitch. Misses low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. So sort of out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the pitcher Stevens falling behind. He fell behind 3-0 to Riley, and Riley was green lit and he got a hit. And then he fell behind 2-0 to Cordova, who ended up getting a double. And now he's behind 2-0 here to Matt Major, and this one's called a strike, and it's 2-1. Of course, anytime you start falling behind, a lot of hitters can sit dead red on fastball. Peering in at his catcher's signs is Stevens, and he likes what he sees. Checks the runner at second, fires home. Swung on ground ball left side. A slow roller charging in is Johnson, the shortstop. And he'll make the throw over to first base for the second out here in the top of the third inning. Cordova moved over to third base on the ground ball out by Major. And here comes Herschel Gardner. Herschel Gardner with one plate appearance. He walked his first plate appearance. He was one of the guys that was stranded on base back in the first inning. 2 of them stranded. This one misses high and away, 1-0 the count. The 2 stranded were Gardner, and the man on third base right now, that's Ryan Cordova. In fact, he was actually stranded at third base in the first, so he's hoping to buck that trend right now. No pun intended. Lay kicking here is the pitch. Low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. We talked to a lot of these hitters, and a lot of them love the 2-0 pitch. Of course, most people will tell you 2-0, 3-1. Those are the ultimate hitter's pitches. Most of them are just going to look for fastballs. We'll see what happens here. Gardner digging in. And this one's called a strike, as it sounded like somebody moaned from the dugout. And it is 2-1, as the umpire confirms. And the scoreboard now changes to 2-1. Here's the pitch. Good job holding up at the off-speed pitch. Like it was a slow kind of slider that basically slid from the left side of the plate all the way across to the inside of the left-handed hitter Gardner. Here's the 3-1. Swung on and fouled behind home plate and out of play. And it's now a full count. So a payoff pitch here to come to Herschel Gardner. Herschel Gardner is showing a lot of good plate discipline in his first at-bat to draw that walk. I remember the team really liked the fact that he ended up taking the walk, because we mentioned his physical prowess. A very, very big guy, large in stature. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side over towards the second baseman Moore, and he fields it and fires the first for the final out. So Gardner is retired, and that's kind of what happens when you get an outside pitch and you try to pull it. You always hit a ground ball to the opposite field, and that was exactly what happened there. So at the end of 2.5 innings, it is now 4-2 as the Bucs come 1 run closer. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Sweep the street.
Welcome back to Long Beach City College. So glad you could join us here for the first game of the Inland Valley Buccaneers season. 4-2 the score. The Buccaneers trailing. Dave Sobera is always on the play-by-play on Inland Valley Baseball Network. We have another new pitcher here for the Buccaneers, Chris Gosson. First pitch, two-hopper over towards Kevin Riley. Riley juggles it a little bit, but makes the throw over to first in time to retire Brady Conlon for the first out here in the third inning. So after the shaky start by Alex Bernstein, quietly, last 5 hitters have been retired by Inland Valley pitching. We figure to see a whole lot of pitchers here today for the Buccaneers. In fact, it's scripted to see every single one that's on the bench today, as this one is inside, I believe, for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Daniel Ariano. He is 1 for 1 on the day, a 2-run triple back in the first inning, and then also wound up scoring, as it's now 1-1. So sticks on the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, 4-2 the score. Legends on top. Lay kicking, here's the pitch, and this one is about a 59-footer in the dirt for ball 2. 2-1 the count here. Chris Gosson is 6'0", 175-pound, right-handed pitcher, going against the right-handed hitter, Daniel Ariano. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, fastball blown by the hitter, and it's 2-2. Very limited playing time at Citrus College this past season as a freshman, so looking to kind of get a lot of innings here this summer. Nice breaking pitch, and ooh. Not too sure where it missed. It must have missed inside, as it's now a full count. Payoff pitch to come here to the cleanup hitter for the Legends. Here's the pitch. Swung on. High fly ball to shallow right field. Charging in and making the play is Hopkins out there in right field. So now that's the 6th consecutive Legend retired by Inland Valley pitching after giving up 4 runs in the first. Chris Gosson hails from Upland and went to Upland High School. We mentioned playing for the Citrus College Owls. This one misses low, ball 1, another off-speed pitch, and it's 1-0. A lot of Citrus College players throughout our program, as it's very close by in the Inland Empire. And this one is a little bit of chin music, high and in, is the fastball, and it's 2-0 to Justin Stream. Stream with an RBI single in the first inning. He's 1 for 1 on the day. Kind of shook his head. Didn't like that ball coming upstairs. And this one's also upstairs, but not inside. But it's 3-0 now. So let's see if Justin Stream gets a little bit of a green light, as we saw Kevin Riley get earlier in the game. Here's the pitch. But it won't matter because it's not really anywhere near the strike zone, and that'll be a 4-pitch walk drawn. A free pass to Justin Stream, and the streak of 6 batters down in a row is now over, as the left-handed hitter Tanner Levine comes to the plate. First baseman lined out to the third baseman in his first at-bat. Third baseman is Major over there at the hot corner. He was actually shielding his eyes from the sun, as the sun is beginning to set here at 5:20 local time in Long Beach. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled out of play over the third base dugout, and it'll be 0-1. Well, as we were starting to mention a little bit of, this is the third inning and the third pitcher of the game for the Buccaneers. You look at the script here from Kevin Bowler, as this is about a 58-footer in the dirt. The block is made by the catcher, but there was really nothing Johnny Juarez could do behind home plate, as advancing to second base on a wild pitch is Justin Stream. But we had Bernstein first, and then Hopkins came in the second. We're going to have Gosson in the third, Crestmar in the fourth, Rodriguez fifth, Sanchez the sixth, Lannon the seventh, Diaz the eighth. Ground ball up the middle. Riley has it under control and throws over to first, but it's not in time, as that'll be an infield base hit for Tanner Levine to finish what we were talking about. Ortiz will close things out. So it's actually in the script for 9 different pitchers to pitch 1 inning each. Of course, this is the first game of the season, so Kevin Bowler treating it almost as a bullpen, just wanting to see what each pitcher has so he knows what he can count on for the rest of the season, as this one misses low for a ball here to Sebastian Sanchez. Sebastian Sanchez, first at bat of the game. His previous plate appearance, he was hit by a pitch. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, swung on and missed, and it's 1-1. Still a 4-2 ball game. Buccaneers trailing the Legends. Bottom of the 3rd inning. But just kind of summing up that we will see 9 pitchers in this game in a 9-inning game. This one gets past the catcher, Johnny Juarez, and that's going to be a pass ball. And in comes the 5th run of the day for the Legends. So that is something that you can't afford to do if you're the Legends. Kind of maybe taking the pitch for granted a little bit and maybe taking your eye off it for the last second. And then all of a sudden it gets by you and another run comes on the board. And you're trying to kind of chip away at that 4-1 deficit that you just made a 4-2 game. But back out to 3 runs for the Legends as this one is swung on and missed. And it's 2-2. Deuce is running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And, well, for the Buccaneers, they have a 2 spot on the board. But unfortunately, the home team, the Legends, have a 5. Here's the 2-2. Broken bat, shattered. And he might be able to beat this out as charging is major. And he's not going to be able to get it in time. The runner's coming home, and the tag will not be made as scoring from second base is Tanner Levine on a broken bat single by Sebastian Sanchez. So a lot of tough luck in this inning here for the Buccaneers, as we've just seen a routine ground ball to the shortstop beat out, and then a broken bat single down the left side of the infield, beaten out for another single, and the runner from second coming all the way around to score and make it a 6-2 ball game for the Legends. Here's Michael Simoneau, the catcher for the Legends. He's 0 for 1, grounded into a double play back in the 1st inning. That was turned by the second baseman Vandegrift, or actually rather Vandegrift was the man who started the play, and it was turned by Kevin Riley over at short. And this one called a strike on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. Well, it looked good for Chris Gazin, as this one is fouled off the ankle of the hitter Michael Simoneau. Had the first 2 batters retired. Ground ball to the shortstop, Riley. Fly ball to right field. But then all of a sudden you walk somebody. And then next you have a ground ball that was really routine ground ball. Kevin Riley taking a lot of time and not throwing the runner out. Runner's off here, and he will be safe. Over there at second is Sanchez with a, we'll give him a stolen base, even though the catcher couldn't handle the breaking pitch because he was off with the pitch and probably would have made it regardless. Bucks may not have even offered a throw anyways with the runner on third, especially with 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. High fly ball to straightaway center and medium center field. Camping underneath it and making the grab out there is the center fielder Chamberlain. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 3rd inning, but the damage was done. 2 more runs score, and it's now 6-2 Legends at the end of 3. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of the fourth inning. 6-2 the score. Buccaneers trailing the Legends as the first pitch misses low for ball one to Johnny Juarez. Johnny Juarez 0 for 1 on the day. Ground ball over to the right side of the infield at the second baseman Moore. If you remember, Moore making a nice play to his glove side. Low and away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. You can almost say that Moore sort of robbed Juarez of a hit. It wasn't hit too hard, but just kind of going deep in the hole was Moore. Checks his swing, but it's called a strike, and it's 2-1 now for John Stevens against Johnny Juarez, one of about 8 or 9 returning players for the Buccaneers this season. The number keeps changing a little bit as a few players have decided to play now, and then on the other hand, another one just dropped off the team. And this one is swung and fouled out of play down the right field line. 2-2 the count. Johnny Juarez last season was one of the regulars for this Buccaneer team. 28 games played for number 28. As this one misses high, ball 3, full count. And of course, catcher knowing the strike zone better than anybody. But in those 28 games, he ended up hitting .272, but came on very strong the last month of the season. This one misses low, ball 4. So a walk drawn here by Johnny Juarez. Always a major no-no for a pitcher to walk the first hitter. The odds go up so much higher for being able to at least plate that one run in an inning when you get that first man on base. We'll go 7, 8, 9 in the lineup now. That'll be J.P. Hopkins, Blake Vandegrift, and Anthony Seminaris. Anthony Seminaris saying that he wants his own show on the Inland Valley Baseball Network. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. We'll see if that comes to fruition for Anthony. He, of course, is a returning Buccaneer player and definitely feels comfortable in his own skin, so I have no doubt that it would be high-quality television. Here's the pitch, and this one misses low for ball 1. 1-1 the count. J.P. Hopkins at the plate. Hopkins 0 for 1, grounded out to the third baseman back in the second inning. Hopkins, 6'0", 195-pound right-handed hitter. Swings at this one and fouls it straight back at the screen, and it's 1-2. The on-deck batter will pick it up and toss it over to the catcher as it's 1-2 here to J.P. Hopkins. His given name is Jeremy, but goes by J.P. Plans to pursue a career as an EMT after his baseball playing days are over. So a benevolent human being is J.P. Hopkins. He takes low for ball 2, 2-2 the count. Hometown, Chino Hills. Went to Chino Hills High School, where he was a first-team All-League selection back his senior year in high school. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, and this one is skied a mile high towards the first baseman, who is underneath it and makes the one-handed grab. That's Levine for the first out here in the top of the fourth inning. And here comes Blake Vandegrift for the Buccaneers. Vandegrift 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 6'2", 175. As we mentioned, from Northeastern State earlier on the broadcast. Here's the pitch. This one misses low and away. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Vandegrift from Oklahoma. One of a few out-of-state players here on the Buccaneers. Here's the pitch. Line drive to center field. Going back on his horse is Tiedemann, and he makes the catch over his shoulder out in right center field a long way, but just happens to hit it over there to center field. And so Vandegrift will fall to 0 for 2 on the day, but definitely driving that one pretty far. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast that this is affectionately referred to as a hitter's graveyard by the Legends themselves, and that was in between the 403 and 380 signs, so that was very deep, probably 10, 15 feet away from the fence, as this one misses low. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Anthony Seminaris. I would say probably the unofficial leader of this team last year, just in terms of personality. Here's the 1-0 from the pitcher Stevens. Swung on, ground ball right back at Stevens. He backhands it, juggles it, and now fires over to first base to retire Anthony Seminares. So 1-3 if you're scoring at home. And that'll do it for the Buccaneers in the top of the fourth inning. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth. Score remains 6-2. Legends on top. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Well, I just heard the news today. Seems my life is gonna change. I close my eyes, begin to pray. Then tears of joy stream down my face. With arms wide open under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. I'll show you everything. With arms wide open. With arms wide open. Well, I don't know if I'm ready to be the man I have to be. I'll take a breath, I'll take her by my side. We're standing on, we created.
To the bottom of four we go. 6-2 the score. Legends on top of the Buccaneers. So glad you could join us here for the first broadcast of the Inland Valley Buccaneers this season. Meanwhile, the Legends, they've played for the last week, so they're a little bit more in the rhythm here than the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers looking to, just get a few non-conference games in before starting the big league games next Monday and Tuesday against the Pirates. Swung on and fouled straight back at the screen. 0-1 the count here to Colton Johnson, the number 9 hitter in the lineup and shortstop for these Legends. Grounded out to the shortstop in his first at-bat. The new pitcher here for the Buccaneers is David Kretschmar, as this one misses high and away. Ball 1. 1-1 the count. Kretschmar, very large in stature, 6'6", 215-pound right-handed pitcher. Play kick, and here's the pitch. Fastball, inside corner, called strike 2, and it's 1-2. Kretschmar will be a senior at Ashland University in Ohio. Before that, playing at Chaffey College, a big breaking ball that misses low for ball 2, 2-2 the count. At Chaffey College, had a really, really strong sophomore year before transferring to Ashland. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes Colton Johnson. Back to the top of the lineup we go for the Legends. That'll be Tanner Moore, Ty Tiedemann, and Brady Conlon. Of course, Tanner Moore was the man who started it all off in the first inning. He got plunked by a pitch and wound up scoring on the RBI by Brady Conlon. Here's the pitch. This one misses inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Tanner Moore. We were mentioning that good season as a sophomore at Chaffey College for David Kretschmar. Well, that sophomore season, in 52 innings, he had 49 strikeouts. Ground ball fouled over towards the on-deck circle on the third base side. Picking it up and tossing it to the umpire, the on-deck batter, Tiedemann. That shows you that he really is a strikeout pitcher, and we've seen that already as he struck out the only hitter he's faced so far here today. Slow off-speed pitch, bouncing in the dirt for a ball. 2-1 the count. 2-1, 1 out, bottom of the 4th inning, 6-2 the score. Legends actually were behind 1-0 at the end of 1/2 inning, but then came strong in the bottom half of the first with 4. This pitch misses low, gets past Juarez, and it's 3-1. After that, the Bucs cut the deficit to 4-2 in the top of the 3rd, but the Legends answering back with 2 of their own in the bottom half of the 3rd, and that's where we stand. 6-2, ground ball over to the left side, and Kevin Riley actually going down to a knee, and this is going to be another, you have to call it an infield base hit, and this is another play where Riley taking a lot of time, and just you don't have that much time to basically put a knee down on the infield dirt and make the throw. As we mentioned, Riley did redshirt this season. He had a hamstring injury, so he didn't play this whole season for Chaffey College, so maybe he's just, not back in the flow or the rhythm of the ground balls, but you can't sit back there. You got to charge him a little bit. And I'm sure this is his first game back, so he will definitely get that under control as we move forward in the season. Of course, he was an all-star last season, in fact, the best player on this Buccaneer team. And we've seen it with the stick already, where he's 2 for 2. This pitch paints the black of the outside corner, and it's called a strike. To tie Tiedemann. Tiedemann is 0 for 1, flew out to center field in the second, walked and scored in the first. Lunges at this one and hits a routine fly ball over towards the right fielder Hopkins, who fields it and makes the play for the second out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here comes Brady Conlon, number 3 hitter in this lineup. He is 1 for 2, has an RBI single and scored back in the first inning. Dangling his arm down is David. Now going over to first, just kind of keep the runner on his toes. Of course, Tanner Moore is a leadoff hitter, so usually you get your leadoff man on base, and he's definitely, a speedy guy, so you definitely want to keep him in check. And speaking of him, he does have a sizable lead down the first base line. He takes his secondary lead. This one off the fist and just gets over the head of the first baseman for a seeing eye single, and rounding second and heading into third is Tanner Moore as Brady Conlon comes up with his second base hit of the day. You wonder if the first baseman, Cordova, wasn't holding him on, would he have been there to make that play? But that's really an irrelevant thought because he was holding the runner on, and it did get over his head. And so now there's runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the cleanup hitter at the plate, man who blasted a triple, a 2-run triple at that back in the first inning, Daniel Ariano. Fastball, called a ball, and it's 1-0. David Kretschmar is from Diamond Bar, so another local guy for the Inland Valley franchise. Of course, playing at Cal Poly Pomona. Diamond Bar very close, right down the road. Called a strike, 1-1 on the outside corner. And actually, you get off the freeway and you're in Diamond Bar before you end up in Pomona. I mean, the exit you take to get to Cal Poly Pomona is actually originally in Diamond Bar. So that's how close it is. Here's the pitch. As this one misses high and away, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Went to Diamond Ranch High School, where he was an all-league player. I mean, so many of these players on the Buccaneers and the Pirates are former all-league players, all-conference players. The runner's off very early, and there's not even going to be a chance to make a throw down the second base, as it is stolen easily by Brady Conlon. And Johnny Juarez alertly, just eating it and saying, I'm not going to try to risk throwing it when the runner has already got it stolen before I even have a chance to throw it. 2-2 the count, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. High and in, ball 3. So you've got 2 runners in scoring position here for the Legends. It's Tanner Moore on third and Brady Conlon on second, with a cleanup hitter, Ariano, at the plate, 1 for 2 on the day. Big jam to kind of get out of if you want to get back in this game for Kretschmar. but he misses low, and that's ball 4. So you did have an open base for the cleanup hitter to take there. But now you got the number 5 hitter in the lineup, and Justin Stream at the plate. Stream has reached base both times, had the RBI single back in the first inning, and also walked and scored on a pass ball in the 3rd inning. So here comes number 21, Blackjack. A lot of guys always like calling the 21 the Blackjack. Leg kick, and here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled straight back at the screen, and it's 0-1. See on this Long Beach Legends red team a lot of Long Beach City players. Of course, Stream actually is not one of them. He is from Monterey College, almost like a minor league system for the Long Beach City College Vikings, as this one is called a strike on the outside corner, an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Of course, this is something that you got to work on doing if you're a Buccaneer pitcher. A lot of them falling behind, not to say that Kretschmar in particular has fallen behind a lot, but a lot of the pitchers falling behind. And when you get ahead, it's a lot easier when you're up 0-2. This one is a fastball that's high for ball 1, nowhere near the zone, and it's 1-2. But there's a lot of things that you can do when you're in an 0-2 count, as Kretschmar is. Surprised that he did go to the fastball high, though. Here's the pitch. And checked his swing, and yes, he did go, says the home plate umpire. So that will be the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Kretschmar. And as we mentioned, he is a strikeout pitcher and showing it there, even though in the middle of that he had a couple hits and a walk given up. Of course, one of the hits not really, a true hit. I mean, it was just a ground ball to the shortstop that the runner beat out. But anyways, and the other one actually was hit off the fist and over the first baseman's head. So it was a pretty solid outing there for David Kretschmar. And he does keep the Legends off the board here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So it'll remain a 6-2 contest. Legends on top. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of the 5th inning. We're just getting set for widespread changes for the Buccaneers, but that should be happening in the next inning. Kevin Buller actually kind of alerted me to it this inning, but this is still the 5th, and he originally had all of his players scheduled for the first 5 that started, and then, as we mentioned, widespread changes in the 6th inning. So this is the leadoff hitter in the lineup, Tristan Chamberlain. He's 0 for 2. Called strike, 1-1 the count. Struck out looking in his last at-bat in the 3rd inning and grounded out to the shortstop in his first at-bat. on deck, Kevin Riley. Here's the pitch. This one's laced over to the left side. Trying to make a backhanded grab is the third baseman Conlon, but he can't handle it. So that's going to go down as an infield base hit for Tristan Chamberlain, the center fielder for the Buccaneers. Well, that's what you want to do. You want to get your first base runner on base any way you can. This time through a single. We mentioned in the last inning, actually, that anytime you walk the first hitter, the odds go up drastically in terms of being able to score that run. Well, it didn't come to fruition for the Bucs in the last inning, but they're hoping this time with a leadoff single that they will end up scoring a run here in the fifth inning. First pitch to Riley is called a strike, and it's 0-1. Riley has enjoyed success in this game. He's 2 for 2, double, single, and both runs scored for the Buccaneers in this game. Called strike 2, and I don't think Riley liked the call much as he kind of walks out. Looked like he maybe shook his head for a little bit, but he's a very calm, demeanored guy, so he never really lets anything get, bother him. Ground ball, height chopper over to the third baseman, who makes a leaping attempt at it, and he will make the force play over at second base. So Chamberlain retired on the play by Conlon over to Moore, and Riley is on base for a third time, of course, this time reaching on the fielder's choice, 5-4. Here comes Ryan Cordova. He had an RBI double back in the third. Walked and stole in the first. So really those are the two spots in the lineup that have done pretty much all the production so far for the Buccaneers. The 2 and 3 spot in the lineup. As we mentioned, Riley now 2 for 3, but he has both runs scored. And then Ryan Cordova, he's 1 for 1, has an RBI as he takes a strike, and it's 1-1. And also reached by a walk. Here's the pitch, and it misses low. 2-1. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Well, Cordova and Riley are actually two of the guys, as we mentioned at the beginning of this inning, that some of them are going to be switched in and out. They are two of the guys who are definitely staying in the whole game. On the script from Kevin Bowler, as this one paints the black on the outside corner, called strike 2, 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the fifth inning. Buccaneers trailing 6-2. Kevin Riley taking his lead off first base with Ryan Cordova at the dish. Breaking pitch in the dirt gets past the catcher and headed over to second base, and into scoring position will be Kevin Riley on the wild pitch. So now, Cordova looking to drive something with a full count and a runner in scoring position, maybe looking to get his second RBI of the day. Here comes the payoff pitch, checking down to second, now firing and actually taking one off the left shoulder is Ryan Cordova. So Cordova takes one for the team and gets on base the hard way with a full count. And up comes the new hitter for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. And this is definitely actually a new hitter. So we do have a change here. This looks like it should be Moss. Here's the pitch. Called a strike, and it's 0-1 here. Shaman Moss, 6'0", 165 pounds, from Chaffey College. Here's the pitch, and it's low for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Well, the reason you hesitate to mention the switches is it's not as easy as usual. There's a little mix-up with the uniforms, and the Buccaneers do not have numbers on. So the alert to me that it was a new hitter was that he was wearing a Chaffey College helmet. And I knew the previous batter who would have been in this spot was from Mount Sac. So I checked it out, and yes, that is Shaman Moss. takes low for a ball, and it's 2-1. Shaman Moss had a really great season for Chaffee. In fact, it was a second-team All-Foothill Conference selection as a freshman. Right-handed hitter, open stance, takes low and away. Riley way off second base, taking a huge secondary lead, but decided not to try to go to third when the backhanded grab was made by the catcher, Semino. Great job there. If that gets by him, you got two runners in scoring position, but now it'll remain first and second. Riley, of course, on second, reached on a fielder's choice, and Cordova on first was hit by a pitch. Here comes the hitter's pitch. 3-1 the count. But this one misses upstairs, and it's a 5-pitch walk drawn here for Shaman Moss. So Moss now on first. You look over there at second, that's Ryan Cordova. And on third, Kevin Riley, as Herschel Gardner comes to the plate. Gardner 0 for 1. Ground out to the second baseman, also walked back in the first. If you remember that ground ball, it was really the quintessential outside pitch trying to drive it, as this one is fouled straight back at the screen, and it's 0-1. When we say that, you talk about the outside pitch, you got to try to just punch it to the opposite field. He tried to pull it, turned it over, and grounded it to the right side. We've got the corner infielders playing in, and the middle infielders playing double play depth. Here's the pitch from Stevens. Backdoor breaking ball misses, gets by the catcher, but Riley's not going to come home on that. Didn't get past him far enough. Although, if you've been paying attention to college baseball lately, talking about the Division I baseball tournament, we've seen a few stolen bases. In fact, we've even seen stolen bases at home to win games, which San Diego State did against UCSB, if you follow that. Here's the 1-1. Line drive into shallow right center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Coming home to score is Kevin Riley, and everybody else moves up station to station because it was a softly hit line drive to right center field. So everybody had to hold up because they didn't know if the center fielder out there, Tiedemann, would be able to make the play. And Tiedemann, to his credit, did a great job of making it look like he had it under control and kind of showing glove, but really all along he knew he was going to let the ball hit to the ground. So only one run scoring on that line drive out there in the right center field, but it does make it 6-3 as Herschel Gardner now has his first RBI of the season. Now we've got another new batter here, and that's going to be Campbell. So Campbell coming in to replace Juarez behind the dish. This pitch on the inside called a strike. Brendan Campbell, 5'10", 175-pound right-handed hitter. Played for Citrus College the last 2 years. So another guy, as we mentioned, that is going to be a junior, looking to find a home for the next 2 years of his playing career. This one misses low in the dirt. 1-1 the count here to Brendan Campbell. Campbell, as we mentioned, last year did play for the Bucs in 17 games. Kind of struggled at the plate, only a 188 batting average. Base is juice, though. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 2. So we mentioned that last season for the Buccaneers, he hit 188. But you would think that right here, this could get him out to a great start with bases loaded and 1 out if he could just get a base hit right here. Coming set is the pitcher, and he fires, swung on and fouled down the first base line, and it's 2-2. So a little bit of a topsy-turvy affair here, as it looked like maybe the Bucs would put up a lot of runs in the first inning. They scored 1, and they had runners on second and third, but stranded both of them. But then the Legends come back with 4 in the bottom half of the first. Angel Mora is the pitcher for the Legends, who comes set and fires. And this one is low and away. Another good job by the catcher, Semino, to stop that one and to make sure everybody didn't move up 90 feet and potentially bring home another run. Well, an ultimate payoff pitch here. Full count, 1 out, top of the 5th inning. I mean, about as ultimate as you could have in the 5th inning, I guess you would say, with the bases loaded and down by 3 runs. Here's the pitch. Swan fouled out of play down the first base line and over that first base dugout. So we'll do it again. Another full count pitch to come here to Brendan Campbell. So Brendan Campbell, hometown Arcadia, went to Arcadia High School. Looking to show off some offensive prowess here with a full count. Catcher setting up on the outside, and that's what you got to do, the outside pitch. You just push it the opposite way. In comes one man to score. Rounding third and coming home is another man, and it's 6-5 as the Buccaneers now have runners on the corners. One out, 6-5 the score. Two-run single by Brendan Campbell. So scoring on the play was Cordova and Moss. And moving into third base, Herschel Gardner. And the Bucs have a little bit of momentum going all of a sudden. And here comes Gerardo Ramirez. So this is another one of those moves to the bench that Kevin Bowler made. Gerardo Ramirez, another returning player for the Inland Valley Buccaneers, who trail by 1. Here's a pitch, line drive in the shallow center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Herschel Gardner is taking his time. The throw coming home, sliding foot first, but safe is Gardner, as Gardner waited a really long time to see whether or not that would drop, and it did. And the center fielder Tiedemann, again, kind of tricking Buccaneer runners into thinking that he had it under control when it looked like all along that it would, fall in front of him. But the job was done. The run does score as Herschel comes in to score, and Campbell advances into second base in scoring position. But that'll be an RBI knock there. That's another guy who, pitching-wise, was great last season for the Bucs, but hitting-wise, struggled a bit. So you like to see both of those guys, Brendan Campbell and Gerardo Ramirez, get out to great starts like that, as this pitch is called a strike to another new Buccaneer. This will be Steer, diminutive right-handed hitter for the Bucs. And this one misses low and away for a ball. 1-1 the count to Connor Steer. 5'7", 150. And a guy familiar with this field. He plays for Long Beach City College, where he'll be a sophomore next season. Here's the 1-1. Swung and missed, 1-2. And he shakes his head in disgust a little bit. One and two, one out. Runners on first and second. The Buccaneers have come all the way back to tie this game up here in the 5th inning. And it still is the 5th inning in what has seemed like a pretty long game at times. A lot of runs being scored. Off-speed pitch outside, ball 2, 2-2 the count. This is the 8th hitter in the inning that the Buccaneers have sent up. 4 of them scoring. Connor Steer hoping to do some more damage for the Buccaneers. Here's the 2-2. Outside, ball 3, full count. So the Bucs really taking advantage of the new pitcher Angel Mora. 6'2", 195-pound right-handed pitcher from El Camino. Struggling to find a rhythm here against the men in black. Here's the 3-2. Ground up right side, and it's foul. The first baseman over there, Levine, was trying to stay in fair territory, because if he had, he knew he was going to get the out at first base and thought that maybe he could make the play to second as well for a double play. But it must have just rolled foul before he could touch that bag. So we'll do it again, another full count pitch to come. 7th pitch of the at-bat to Connor Steer. Connor Steer, hometown is Long Beach, and went to Milliken High School. Here's the 3-2. Ground ball, right side foul again. So we'll do it again for a 3rd time, a full count pitch. Mora versus Steer. And the 8th pitch of the at-bat to come to Connor Steer. comes the full count pitch again. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes Steer. It looked like it might have been fouled a little bit as the home plate umpire showed with his hands. And so that'll be the second out here in the top of the 5th inning for the Buccaneers. But this will now be the 9th hitter the Buccaneers send up here. This will be Taylor coming in to replace Seminaris. First pitch Taylor sees is whacked foul behind the screen, and it'll be 0-1 to Jacob Taylor, 6'5", 200-pound outfielder from San Francisco City College, where he'll be a sophomore next season. Here's the pitch, and this one misses low for a ball. And Taylor motioning down to second base to stay put as the catcher, Simino, doing a good job blocking and making sure that it didn't get by him. Here's the pitch. Swung and fouled back at the screen. And it'll remain 1-2 here for Jacob Taylor. Well, 6'5", 200. He does have a very slender frame. Very tall guy, though. Hometown, Chino Hills. Went to Chino Hills High School. So as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, lots of guys from Chino Hills, Pomona, Diamond Bar, Walnut, all those areas. And this one's down low again. And once again, Simino doing a good job of protecting home plate. Or I should say blocking it at home plate. And protecting his pitcher, really, from runners advancing in the scoring position. And it would make a major difference to have 2 runners in the scoring position as opposed to 1. Those 2 runners on base are Gerardo Ramirez at first and Brendan Campbell at second. Ground ball right side over on the first base line, but foul. Just fouls over the bag, but I believe we've got catcher's interference. So that must have been catcher's interference there, because there's really no other reason why the guy would go to first base. And the bases are now juiced here for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. I don't believe we saw a single catcher's interference last season, or, well, actually, for most of the seasons before that. This is my 4th season calling summer collegiate baseball. But the bases are now loaded, and back to the top of the lineup we go. The man who started all of this off at the beginning of the inning takes one high and in. A little chin music there to Gale. Brayer Gale, 6'1", 190, from Chaffey College. He is a sophomore, or will be a sophomore there. Takes strike 1, 1-1 the count. This, of course, is his second at bat, and he entered in this inning. So, Brayer Gale really enjoying this 5th. Catcher sets up on the outside, and the ball comes right there, an off-speed pitch, but misses away. And it's 2-1. Gale singled earlier in this inning and then was retired at second base on a fielder's choice. Here's the pitch, and it misses low in the dirt. 3-1 the count. So a huge pitch right here for Angel Mora. You've got 3-1. Bases loaded. You have to come with a fastball. Well, you have to come with a pitch that you can rely on to be a strike, which for most people is a fastball. Towing the rubber. Here's the pitch. And it is a fastball taken for strike 2. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. So the merry-go-round will be in session as the runners will all go on a full count 2-out pitch. And they do go. Swung on a chopper. 2-chopper over to the second baseman Moore, who is charging, and he's safe. He beats it out. And that will score the 7th run of the game. The Bucs take a 7-6 lead. Wow. That was close. That was close between a hit and an error. The reason it would be a hit, we've seen guys run them out, but that was a hard one, a slow two-hopper over to the second baseman, but he did make a little bit of an errant throw. If he had made a good throw, he might have gotten the play. This one swung on and fouled out of play over the first base dugout by Kevin Riley. But on the same hand, the reason he had to make that throw quickly was the fact that the runner, Gale, had gotten down the first baseline so quickly. So we'll figure it out later, but as of now, I think we'll give him a little bit of a hometown discount in the single. This one swung on and fouled, and it's 0-2. So Kevin Riley with the bases loaded. If ever there was a guy that you'd one up with the bases loaded, at least last year, it was this guy. And I think you could say the same thing even for today, although he is behind 0-2 right now. But today he is 2 for 3 and has reached base all 3 times. Here's the 0-2. Swung on off the edge of the bat and just a little bit, excuse me, hack, and does his job to stay alive on the breaking pitch that was out of the zone. But, you know, you always want to, I guess, be safer than sorry, and choking up on the bat and just doing his best to foul it off was exactly what Riley did there. So bases loaded, 7-6 the score. Buccaneers on top of the Legends. Kevin Riley at the dish. Here's the pitch for Mora, and it misses low. Another good block by the catcher, Simino. This is the 11th hitter in the inning for the Buccaneers, and that equals the number on the back of the pitcher, Mora, who is wearing 11. Snake eyes. He's hoping to get out of this right here, try to avert any more runs. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers hoping to get a drive to the outfield. This one is another high chopper, another one over to second base, and that is going to be a barehanded attempt, but he can't handle it. And now a runner's coming home to the plate, and he will be thrown out. But the run does come home to score before that in the form of J.P. Hopkins. So it's now 8-6 as we are halfway through this ball game. The Buccaneers having 11 guys hit in that inning. Wow. Kind of almost out of nowhere, although there was obviously the pitching change, the Buccaneers scored 6 runs and take a 2-run lead heading to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
All is tipped. There you are. You're living for your life. You're a shooting star. All those years, no one knows just how hard you work. But now it shows that one shining moment reached deep inside. In one shining moment, you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race.
Well, let's allow everybody to catch a breath as that top of the 5th lasted for quite a while. The Buccaneers sending up 11 hitters and plating 6 runs. They were trailing 6-2 before that 5th inning. Line drive, base hit, and the first man is on base here for the Legends in the bottom half of the inning. That is Tanner Levine, the first baseman. Meanwhile, the new pitcher for the Inland Valley Buccaneers is Cameron Rodriguez. But let me just kind of recap what we just had happen in the top of the 5th inning. Basically, what ended up happening was they brought a new pitcher in, and he struggled a little bit, but also the Buccaneers going to the bench and bringing in a lot of new hitters. Brayer Gale had 2 hits in the inning, who came off the bench fresh. Here's the pitch. The runner at first bluffing, and it's 1-0 to Sebastian Sanchez. Sanchez 1 for 1, singled and also was hit by a pitch. So Brayer Gale going 2 for 2 in the inning, and Kevin Riley keeping his on-base percentage perfect, as this one's called a strike. He is now 3 for 4, and the other time he reached on a fielder's choice. So that's why I say he has that perfect on-base percentage. Ryan Cordova was hit by a pitch and scored. By the way, Riley scored on that fielder's choice as well. Shaman Moss came in, walked and scored. Herschel Gardner, he had an RBI single and scored. Brendan Campbell had a 2-run single down the right field line and scored. Gerardo Ramirez had a line drive right back up the middle. This is a little, hack and a bloop single into right field. Rounding second and going into third is the runner, and this is going to be an error. An ill-advised throw out there by the right fielder ends up costing the Bucs a run, as Sebastian Sanchez ends up all the way on third base. So Sanchez, with a little bloop single out to right field, winds up on third after the throwing error by the right fielder for the Buccaneers. Right fielder is actually Cordova now. So Cordova moved from first base to right field. This one's off the end of the bat, foul. Speaking of all those changes, let's kind of try to get you some kind of idea of all the changes that happen in the field. Riley is no longer at short. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, left side. Oh, it's off the glove, and making a backhanded grab and trying to throw it over to first, but that's going to be an error, was the shortstop on that play. But it was hardly hit, or toughly hit, however you want to say it, hit on a rope over towards the hot corner, and Gerardo Ramirez couldn't handle it. So a run will come home to score on an E5. And here's the pitch. High and away ball. 1-0 the count here to Colton Johnson. So it is Ramirez at third. Gale is at shortstop. He was the guy that we told you about that went 2 for 2 in the last inning. This one misses low, and it's 2-0. At second base, we've got Steer. At first base, we've got Taylor. Behind the dish is Campbell. The runner's off. Campbell throws down to second, and it'll be just high. So that'll be a stolen base for Michael Cimino. Well, you don't typically see the catcher stealing too many bags, but he got that one. Long look over at second base, and now fires high and away for a ball. And it's 3-1. Hitter's pitch to come here to the number 9 hitter in the lineup, Colton Johnson. Cameron Rodriguez still on the rubber here in the 5th inning for the Buccaneers. Well, this has been a wild game, to say the least, as this one's fouled out of play down the first base line. Full count. The Bucs were trailing 6-2 heading in the 5th inning and plated 6 runs to make it 8-6. And now the Legends come back with 2 of their own before the Bucs can even muster a single out. And it's 8-8. I kid you not. 8-8 is the score, and it's only the 5th inning. Actually, we mentioned the D1 baseball. Oh, the runner's off way early. And this is going to be a ball anyways, but actually the guy wouldn't advance on a ball because he was on second. But wow, that's just stealing the base off the pitcher. There's nothing the catcher, Brendan Campbell, could do but just kind of eat it and say, well, you know, wow, you got to pay more attention if you're Cameron Rodriguez to this base runner, who has now stolen 2 bases here for the Legends. They have runners on the corners, no outs. And here comes the leadoff hitter in the lineup, Tanner Moore, 1 for 2. Takes strike 1 at the knees, 0-1 the count. To finish the new defensive arrangements, it's going to be Riley, who shifted from short to left. Moss comes into the game at center. And as we mentioned earlier, Cordova from first base to right field and actually made a throwing error that ended up allowing a run to score here in this inning. Well, that's something that you don't want to see if you're the Bucs. You finally take the lead. You're fighting back from a 4-run deficit as this one misses low and it's 1-1. And then you kind of get careless in the bottom half of the fifth and make a few errors and give it all back and possibly more because you still have no outs and runners on the corners here. Cameron Rodriguez, 5'7", 175. Right-handed pitcher from Citrus College. We mentioned a lot of Owls on these teams, either current Owls or former Owls. Another pickoff attempt to first, not in time. But we got a little bit of a Citrus College pipeline for the Inland Valley Baseball Association, to say the least. This past season, really throwing a lot of innings for Citrus as the runner's off, and this one misses low. And another stolen bag. I mean, and another play where really the catcher, Brendan Campbell, could not do anything as the pitch was in the dirt as well. But you give him a stolen base because he was halfway down to second base before the ball even hit the dirt. And so now there's 2 runners in the corners. The corner infielders are on pretty much right on the infield grass as we got a fastball high and it's 3-1. Well, you got to look down the first base line, but I think every pitcher will in fact go an inning each, but it looks like somebody's walking down that right field line. It's a catcher in the bullpen sitting down with a pitcher, but there's no movement, so it looks like Cameron Rodriguez is poised to definitely finish and close out this inning. As we were mentioning, though, he pitched a lot of innings this past season for Citrus College. Here's the pitch. Excuse me, hack, but stays alive. Does the number 1 hitter in the lineup, Tanner Moore. This season, 73 innings pitched for Citrus College in 12 games that he started. So a lot of innings tallied up, and the Bucs hoping that he can throw a few more here. Ground ball over towards the left side, and shortstop charging and firing over to the first, and the play is made by Gale, the shortstop. But a run does come home to score, and it's now 9-8 Legends on the RBI ground out by Tanner Moore. We got a new hitter here for the Legends. That'll be Devin Schermerhorn, wearing number 1, Devin Schermerhorn. Swings at the first pitch he sees. This is a high fly ball to deep center field. Back on his horse and trying to make the catch is Moss, but it gets over his head. In comes 1 run, and Schermerhorn is in the second with a stand-up double and an RBI, scoring Colton Johnson. So back and forth we go. The runs keep piling up for each side. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And just like that, the Bucs have a 2-run lead, and it evaporates completely. In fact, now it's a 2-run lead for the opposition, the Legends. Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side. 2-hopper over towards the shortstop, Gale, who takes a little bit of a tumble. And so that'll be an infield hit for the Legends. There was nothing Gale could do. He made the backhanded grab, but just kind of slipped and fell. So no error on that play. Got another new hitter. This is Jake Harris coming in for Daniel Ariano. That's called a strike, and it's 0-1 to Jake Harris. Jake Harris, 6'0", 180-pound sophomore from Long Beach City College. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez, lined up the middle, over towards the second baseman. He flips it to the shortstop, Gale, and Gale turns two. So the second double play turned of the day for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Of course, different members of the infield turned both. The first one was turned by Vandy Rift and Riley. This one by Steer and Gale. And the Bucs finally get out of the inning after giving up 4 runs and seeing a 2-run lead vanquish into a 2-run deficit. We'll head to the top of the 6th in an absolutely wild, high-scoring affair at Long Beach City College. 10-8 the score. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. Yeah, there's too much confusion. I can't get no relief.
Yeah, I see jokers on my left, beats up on my right. You find me in the middle if I picked a different life. Before my name started trickling inside, but I'm still showing signs, all attributed to mine. In the pitch black, it's too cold, I'm all alone. Take me back to the roadside to roam to get here and I'll hitch back. Get a cab to my mother's house, see my old man and grab a 6-pack. Tell my brother I love him and give him something that will see him through the hard times. What's a brother for? When I'm sick of this life I see, it has to be my family who lift me off the floor. Make sense of all the madness in a world full of money, full of tears, full of war. I was a power man, I worked from the earth up. Save your wine for the entrepreneurs.
Top of 6 we go here at Long Beach City College. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1 the count here at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. Ryan Cordova is the batter, right in the heart of the lineup. Slow off-speed pitch called strike 2, and it's 0-2 as he shakes his head yes to the home plate umpire wearing that Y on his helmet for Youngstown State. This one bounces in the dirt, 1-2 the count here for Cordova. Well, we say it's the heart of the order, but we do have a new hitter in the cleanup spot as Shaman Moss entered in the last inning. This one's nowhere near the zone, way outside. Ball 2. 2-2 the count here to Ryan Cordova. Cordova, he's reached base all 3 times, doubled and had an RBI in his second plate appearance. And whoa, he leaves that one low. And that's tough for the pitcher. Definitely hoping as a pitcher that will be called a strike. Here's a pitch. Swung on and fouled off the catcher. And it might have hit off the catcher's wrist as he's going to shake it off. And customary thing for the home plate umpire is to, walk out the ball to the pitcher and basically buy the catcher time to kind of recover and recuperate from that, getting hit. The pitcher is Joey Loranger. So Joey Loranger replacing Mora. Tall guy, 6'7", 225 pounds, redshirt freshman at Cypress College. This one is fouled straight back at the screen. So another 3-2 pitch to come here for Ryan Cordova. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat he sees. Ground ball, broken bat over to the left side. Charging is the third baseman. And the play cannot be made by the first baseman who tried making a backhanded grab but couldn't make the play. So Ryan Cordova, he's on base again for the 4th time in the game. Obviously this time though reaching on an error. And here comes the next batter, Shaman Moss. Moss, with his second plate appearance of the day. His first plate appearance, he was walked and scored. Swings to the first pitch he sees, towering fly ball down the first base line. That should be playable over there for the first baseman, but no, he can't get to it in time. First baseman is Jake Sagagan. So just like the Bucks, the Legends have made a lot of changes here. So we'll try to work with you and get as many as we can see. We also have Castro behind the plate for the Legends. Here's the pitch out of the stretch. Painting the black on the outside corner for strike 2 is Leranger. And it's 0-2 here to Shaman Moss. 10-8 the score. Top of the 6th inning. Legends on top. Ground ball left side. High chopper over towards the hot corner. He's going to go to second. And oh, they just beat the runner at second base on the force out. So taking the short way is the third baseman. So Shaman Moss will reach on the fielder's choice. 5-4 as Cordova is retired. And here comes Herschel Gardner. Herschel Gardner, 1 for 2. RBI single and scored back in the 5th inning. Also grounded out to the second baseman as this one gets past the catcher. And heading up 90 feet is Moss into scoring position. So 1-0 the count to Herschel Gardner. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And it's 1-1. Big kind of uppercut swing taken right there by Herschel Gardner. Herschel Gardner is a guy that was a two-sport athlete in high school. And he takes this one low in the dirt and telling the runner on second to stay put, but actually it got past the catcher. Of course, didn't get past the catcher by that much as Castro was quick on his feet. Very nifty. Making sure that the runner didn't advance 90 feet there and into third base. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and fouled straight back at the screen, right over my head. Probably about 3 or 4 feet over where I'm sitting as the on-deck batter, Brendan Campbell, will step over and grab that foul ball. 2-2 the count, 1 out, top of the 6th. Slow off-speed pitch outside, ball 3. 3-2 the count. Well, Herschel Gardner, as we mentioned, from Northeastern State, not really getting any playing time this past season. Ground ball, right side, one hopper over towards the first baseman who steps on the bag and retires Gardner. So that's the second ground ball out of the day for Gardner, both to the right side of the infield. And that'll be the second out here in the top of the 6th inning, and up comes Brendan Campbell. Well, Brendan Campbell, as we mentioned, back in the 5th inning, when he got his first, and I say back in the 5th inning, actually that was last inning. This one misses low, ball 1. Struggled with the stick a little bit last season for the Bucks, but coming through in the clutch here in his first at-bat with a 2-run single down the right field line. Swings at this one, and that was a really confident-looking swing, but it is foul and out of play down the right field line. The Buccaneers, just in their first game of the season, they'll play 2 on Wednesday, as this pitch is called a ball and a down by the home plate umpire. 2-1 the count. So just getting their feet wet, so to speak, kind of getting familiar with each other, all of the players. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, left side, chopper in the hole. Nice glove play made by the third baseman, and he will fire over to first for the out. So that retires the side, 5-3 on that putout. And the Buccaneers, they cannot muster any runs here in the top of the 6th. And so as we head to the bottom of the 6th, it remains a 10-8 ball game. Legends on top of the Buccaneers. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Jack-o'-lanterns in July, setting fire to the sky. Here comes this
from a heart attack. One maniac at a time, we will take it back. You know time crawls on when you're waiting for the song to start, so dance alone to the beat of your heart. Hey, young blood, doesn't it feel like our time is running out? I'm gonna change you like a remix, then I'll raise you like a phoenix. Wearing a vintage misery, now I think you look a little better on me. I'm gonna change you like a remix, then I'll raise you like a phoenix. Bring home the boys and scrap metal to tanks. Get hit, make a career out of robbing banks. Because the world is just a teller and we are wearing black. As we broke our spirits at the note we passed. Take the world back from a heart attack. One maniac at a time, we will take it back. You know time crawls on when you're waiting for the song to start, so dance alone to the beat of your heart. Hey, young blood, doesn't it feel like our time is running out? I'm gonna change you like a remix, then I'll raise you like a phoenix. Wearing a vintage misery.
To the bottom of 6 we go. 10-8 remains the score. The Legends on top of the Buccaneers. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad that you could join us here on InlandValleyBaseball.com for our first ever live video stream. We, of course, have had live radio in the past, but we do have the live video stream for you. Ground ball, line drive up the middle, right back from where it came from for a base hit by Justin Stream. First pitch he sees from the new pitcher Chris Sanchez is lined into center field. Here comes Jake Sagahan. So Jake Sagahan, as we mentioned in the last inning, coming in to replace the first baseman Tanner Levine. He's 6'0", 190, left-handed hitter, swinging and it's foul down the third base line, really into left field, deep left field at bat. But Sagahan will be a freshman at El Camino College, so a lot of Long Beach City College players as well as a number of El Camino College players on this Long Beach Legends red team as well. Here's the 0-1, Chris Sanchez coming set at the hip. Checks the runner, fires home, off-speed pitch, called a strike, 0-2 the count. Well, Chris Sanchez was a solid pitcher for the Buccaneers last year. 42 innings pitched for the Bucs, 32 strikeouts, 3-2 record, 3.43 ERA. High and away fastball, 1-2 the count. Sanchez comes set, working out of the stretch with the runner on first, fires over to first, but not in time. So Chris Sanchez took the season off to redshirt at Fullerton College. Fullerton College, the Hornets had a good season, speaking of them, as this one misses high and away. Anthony Seminaris as well plays for Fullerton College. They definitely made the super regionals. He was talking about how tough it was when they went up to Santa Barbara and ended up falling in that super regional in a couple games. They kind of had a power outage and couldn't really have any hits in that series, as this one swung on and fouled back behind home plate. And we'll do it again. Another 2-2 pitch to come here for the 6'3", or I should say, actually pitching is the 6'3", 230-pound right-handed pitcher Chris Sanchez. Sanchez went to Diamond Bar High School before going to Fullerton College. Here's a 2-2. Swung on a miss, strike 3, and down goes the hitter. So that's the first strikeout of the day for Sanchez. And Sanchez, of course, will just pitch this one inning, as we mentioned. A new pitcher in every single inning for the Buccaneers today. So we started with Bernstein. We went to Hopkins. Then it was Gosson, Cressmar, Rodriguez. Now we're here in the 6th with Chris Sanchez. And he comes set in the stretch. Checks the runner at first. Checks again. Really taking a long look there and finally throws to first. And Sebastian Sanchez is the man at the dish right now. Sanchez 2 for 2 on the day. Couple singles. Runs scored. Stolen bag. Takes strike 1. 0-1 the count. But as we mentioned, after watching that last strikeout, he's a guy that's struck out a lot of guys last season. 29 innings, 26 strikeouts, so nearly a strikeout per inning pitched. And he would be right on par with that, assuming he doesn't get another strikeout here in this inning. Checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. This one misses low. Off-speed pitch, 1-1 the count. If you remember, last year, Chris Sanchez had 1 week where he was especially good for the Buccaneers and was named the SCCBL Pitcher of the Week. Swung on and missed, blown by the hitter, and it's 1-2. And that week, he ended up pitching 10 1/3 innings. Gave up no runs for the entire week, and actually got 2 wins. One of the performances was an 8-inning performance where he shut out the Lancaster Rounders. And the other one was where he came in 2 1/3 relief innings, ground ball, line drive, right side, and going the short way is the second baseman over towards Gale, the shortstop, to retire the force out over there at second base. So reaching on a fielder's choice, 4-6, is Sanchez, as Stream will head back to the third base dugout. And here comes the new catcher, Steven Castro. Castro replacing Cimino behind the plate last inning. Here's the pitch. High and tight, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Certainly a topsy-turvy affair. I think we mentioned that at least once before, but let me just kind of give you an idea. This one's a high fly ball to shallow center field, and coming in maybe a few steps, maybe about 5 feet, is the center fielder Moss for the third out of the inning. So a very good performance here for Sanchez. But like we were beginning to say, and I guess we'll just finish telling the story before we go to break. It was 1-0 Bucks at one point, and then the Legends responding with 4 in the bottom half of the first. Bucks answering with 1 made it 4-2. Legends then extending the lead to 6-2. Then in the top of the 5th, the Bucks score 6 and take an 8-6 lead, but only relinquish it in the bottom half of the inning when they give up 4 runs, and that's where we stand now. The score is 10-8 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
Hey, I got the house with my swagger, hop in there with dough, I got places to go. People to see, time is precious, I look at my Cartier out of control. Just like my mind where I'm going, the women, the shorties know nothing but clothes. No stopping at my Pirelli's on roll. Unlike my jewelry that's always on roll. I know the storm is coming, my pockets keep telling me it's gonna shower. Call up my homies, it's on and popping the night cause it's meant to be ours. We keep a fadeaway shot cause we ballin' this platinum Patron every hour. Look mama, ow, you just like the flowers. Girl, you the truth with all that goody power.
You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
From the top of the pool, I watch her go down. She got me throwing my money around. Ain't nothing more beautiful to be found. It's going down, down. From the top of the pool, I watch her go down. She got me throwing my money.
And welcome back as we head to the top of the 7th inning. 10-8 the score. Legends on top. Gerardo Ramirez takes strike 1, and it's 0-1. 10-8. That is not something you typically see for a Pirates or Buccaneers game, as this one is swung on and fouled down the first base line. 0-2 the count. But a lot of runs scored, but also a lot of runs given up. And it's hard to kind of finger point one really like turning moment. I mean, there could still be a moment that changes the game. There's still a full 3 innings to play, but you have a lot of guys coming in and pitching just 1 inning, so maybe part of it is, as this one sails high for a ball, 1-2 the count. Maybe it's just, you know, you're only going to pitch that 1 inning, so I don't know, maybe you're just not, you're only used to knowing that you're going to have a bunch of innings out there. Ground ball foul right back at the plate, behind the plate I should say, and it's 1-2. But whatever it is, and maybe it's just a little bit of rust, because this is, as we mentioned, the first game of the season. Some of the guys have thrown good innings, but some of them have really struggled for the Bucs, as this one is grounded foul down the third base line. We'll do it again, another 1-2 pitch here for Gerardo Ramirez. But you look at some of the innings where guys struggle. I mean, really, you look at every other inning, the Bucs have had a shutout, but every other inning, there's been crooked numbers. Ground ball right side over to the second baseman, a wicked hop takes, and Gerardo barely beats it out. Sticking with the play over there was the second baseman, and really making a great play to make that close and almost get Gerardo Ramirez. But Ramirez is on base safely here after that wicked hop over at second base, and that's something we've come to see over the years at Joe Hicks Memorial Field. A lot of ground balls on the dirt that just kind of fly. Just take huge shots up, like almost like they've been on a trampoline. Propelled up as the first pitch misses outside to Connor Steer. Connor Steer 0 for 1, struck out in the 5th inning. Here's the pitch. Fastball away, ball 2. So Connor Steer taking a couple of pitches outside and now has a hitter's pitch. 2-0 the count with a runner on first. That's Gerardo Ramirez. Coming set. Here's the pitch. Line drive to right field. Charging in and making the catch is the right fielder over there. That's Harris for the first out here in the 7th inning. I mean, right fielder Harris playing very shallow actually, because off the bat initially I was thinking maybe it had a chance to kind of get down, but he was in there very, very quickly. As Taylor comes to the plate, he takes low and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Well, Taylor actually reached on a catcher's interference, so that was definitely the first time we've seen that this season. But line drive, right field, base hit, and actually trying to make the play over to the first base. I was thinking that the right fielder would maybe even try to go to first. Was number 5 out there, Jake Harris, but he thought better of it, because as we mentioned, he's playing pretty shallow and he gets a very good read. He jumps on it and fielded it off the 1 bounce, but like we said, decided not to throw it. So it's a line drive base hit there for Taylor, and back to the top of the lineup we go. And Brer Gale swings at the first pitch he sees. Fly ball in the shallow right field, about 5 feet on the outfield grass, is the second baseman who makes the play for the second out here in the top half of the 7th inning. So a fly ball out to the second baseman by Brer Gale, and here comes Kevin Riley. Kevin Riley reaching base all 4 times today. Doubled and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 5th. Here's the pitch. Takes down low for strike 1, 0-1 the count. And then singled in the 5th. And that was actually how the inning ended, if you remember. On that single in the 5th, he beat it out. Late kick, and here's the pitch. High and tight, ball 1, 1-1 the count. And then the runner from second base, Taylor, tried scoring, was thrown out at the plate. Stepping off the mound. And now stepping back on the mound is the pitcher, the Ranger. 2 men on, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. 2-run deficit for the Bucks, so a lot of twos in play here, as now it's 2 balls as well for Kevin Riley. Kevin Riley's hometown is Rancho Cucamonga, played for Los Osos in high school. So a fly ball down the first base line. The first baseman makes a basket grab in foul territory, and that'll do it for the 7th inning. So that's actually the first time that Kevin Riley is retired, and it will stay a 10-8 ball game. Legends on top of the Bucks here at Long Beach City College. It's time to stretch. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Bottom of 7 we go. Here's the pitch. Misses for a ball. 1-0 count here to Steinman. Steinman wearing lucky number 13. Lay kicking, here's the pitch. Swung on, high fly ball down the right field line. That might be a little bit of trouble. No, the right fielder Cordova has it under control. And that'll be the first out here in the 7th inning. So solid start out there for Logan Lannon, who is the new pitcher here for the Buccaneers. 6'0", 180-pound right-handed pitcher. He is a redshirt freshman at Fullerton College. There's a few Fullerton College players on this team. I'd say about 3 or 4. You saw one earlier pitch, as well as one earlier in the field. That was Anthony Seminaris. And the one that pitched was the most recent one, Chris Sanchez, who pitched in the 6th inning. First pitch missed outside. The second pitch now called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here for Logan Lannon. Logan Lannon's hometown is La Habra. Nice backdoor breaking ball, called a strike, and it's 1-2, and went to La Habra High School. Working out of the windup, he likes what he sees, nods his head in approval, and fires another off-speed pitch of the backdoor variety, but this one just missing off the plate, and it's 2-2. So this is the 9th spot in the lineup, but it is, as we mentioned, swung on and missed. Actually, this is the 1 spot in the lineup. I take that back, and it's swung on and missed there by a guy whose number we do not have on our roster. So that'll be the 2nd out here, but that was number 56. And here comes Devin Schermerhorn, I should say. Big breaking pitch at the knees, called a strike, 0-1 the count. That was really a wicked kind of 12-6 breaker there for Logan Lannon. Working from the right side of the rubber if you're watching at home. This one's bounced in the dirt for ball 1, 1-1 the count. Well, 10-8 to score, bottom of the 7th inning. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. The men in red are ahead of the men in black. Line drive right field, and that'll be a base knock over there for Devin. And the first base runner here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Here's Angel Mora. So Angel Mora actually pitched 1 inning, and that was really the big inning where the Buccaneers scored 6 runs, and then he moved over to the hot corner the inning after that, and that is now going to get an at-bat here for the Legends as he takes strike 1 at the knees, 0-1 the count to number 11. Taking his lead off first base is Schermerhorn. Fly ball out of play down the right field line, and it's 0-2. So quickly, Lannon is ahead of the hitter. Lannon hoping to stop that trend as this one is lined into right field, and that will get down for a base hit. The runner, Devin, will advance over into third. And you now got runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning on the single by Angel Mora. This is Jake Harris. Harris 0 for 1 on the day, grounded into a double play in his only at bat. At about 7 o'clock, really it's 6:54, but about 7 o'clock you start seeing some interesting shades kind of creeping their way across the field. You have shortstop in a little bit of a shade because there's actually kind of covers on the top of the fence that are creating an interesting shade over at shortstop. And this one catches the inside, 1-1 the count here. Otherwise, maybe a little bit of a shade out there in shallow left field down the line, but nothing else really to speak of. Here's the pitch, and it misses into the dirt for a ball. Well, the Buccaneers definitely would love to get out of this inning unscathed. Still trailing by 2 with 2 at-bats. You feel like you have a good chance. Meanwhile, the Legends looking for insurance runs here as the runner's off. Line drive over to the second baseman, and it takes another horrible hop. And now the center fielder doesn't field it cleanly, but a run comes to score, and it's 11-8. What was interesting about that is when the runner went off, the second baseman, Steer, actually basically ran directly to where the ball was hit because he was trying to cover second base, and it just happened to be hit right at him. It was hit on a rope, but once again, you got to wonder. I mean, he didn't even touch the ball, so I guess you got to say it's a hit, but you got to wonder how you would rule that a hit or an error. But the main thing is a run did come home to score as this pitch is called a strike. And it's 0-1 here for Lannon. Ooh, a nice breaking pitch in there called a strike, and it's 0-2 to Justin Stream. Stream got a couple base hits today. Also walked, scored, and has 1 RBI. Here's the pitch. Low and away. A breaking pitch for a ball. And it's 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning. Once again, the Bucs trying to make sure that another run doesn't come in to score here. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. And down goes Stream looking. And so that'll do it for the 7th inning. But the Legends tally 1 more run and make it an 11-8 contest as we head to the top of the 8th. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. back as the first pitch is called a strike. 0-1 the count here as we start things off here in the top of the 8th inning. Bucks behind by 3. Low and away, ball 1. 1-1 the count here to Ryan Cordova. Ryan Cordova in the number 3 spot in the lineup. You got Cordova, then you got Moss and Gardner. Swings and fouls this one out of play. And it's 1-2. So it's the heart of the lineup on paper, but of course, as we mentioned, there were a lot of changes. But it is the number 3 and 5 who started. Slow off-speed pitch, swung on and bounced over to the right side. The second baseman makes the play, and the Bucks are down to their final 5 outs here of the first game, as that was a routine ground ball over there at second base. Although I say routine, and it looks like really there's been anything but routine ground balls hit there in the last couple of innings. Some awkward hit balls, kind of just jumping off the dirt. And this one's definitely going to be an error off Angel Mora. It was a 2-hopper down the third base line, but he couldn't field it cleanly. Kind of hit right at him. And so Moss heads to second base. And here comes Herschel Gardner. So Bucks got a man in scoring position now, trying to chip away at that 3-run deficit. 11-8 to score here in the top of the 8th inning. As we mentioned, down to their final 5 outs of this game. Play kicking here is the pitch. Outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count here for Joey Laranger. Tall, 6'7", right-handed pitcher for the Legends. Fastball swung on, towering fly ball to right field. Going back towards the 380 sign is the right fielder Harris, who makes the grab, and tagging up is Moss. So Herschel Gardner moves the runner over. But it won't be a sac fly because there was already 1 out in the inning. So now there are 2. And here comes Brendan Campbell. Campbell 1 for 2. Had a 2-run single down the right field line in the 5th inning. Takes low. Breaking pitch. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Setting up on the outside is the catcher. And this one's lined in the left center field for a base hit. And another RBI for Brendan Campbell. Rounds first base hard and then puts on the brakes and heads back to first base. Scoring the play is Moss. But Brendan Campbell with another RBI, his 3rd of the day. I believe I just said his 2nd. That was actually his 3rd because he had a 2-run single back in the 5th. And here comes Gerardo Ramirez. Score now 11-9 as there are 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back at the screen. 0-1 the count. Gerardo Ramirez, 5'10", 210-pound right-handed hitter. Played his high school ball at Diamond Bar High School. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing, but it's called a strike anyways. And it's 0-2. I don't think he quite liked the call because he kind of hit his feet with his bat and spat his sunflower seeds out of his mouth. Here's the 0-2. Fastball outside, maybe a little high too for ball 1. 1-2 the count. 11-8 to score, top of the 8th. 1-2, 2 outs. Bucks trying to get a 2-out rally going, as this one's a little, hack, because this could fall in for a bloop, but no, it doesn't. Charging in is the right fielder, has, we mentioned before, really is playing shallow out there in right field, and he makes the grab. That's Harris, of course, out there in right field. But the Bucks, I should say, do get 1 run back and have now cut the deficit to 2 heading into the bottom of the 8th. The score is 11-9. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Could you whisper in my ear the things you wanna feel? I'll give you anything to feel it coming. Do
on its own too. Don't suppose I'll ever know what it means to be a man. Something I can just change and live around here. I wanna wake up where you are. I won't say anything at all. So why don't you slide? And I'll do anything you ever dreamed to be complete. Little pieces of nothing that fall. Oh, man, put your arms around me. What you feel is what you are, what you are is beautiful. Oh, man, you wanna get married, run away. I'll do anything you ever dreamed to be complete. Little pieces of nothing that fall.
And welcome back. You are listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. This is Dave Sobera, of course, who will be bringing you all the way throughout the season. Here comes the left-handed hitter facing the new pitcher Daniel Diaz, the left-handed pitcher, of course, Sagahan. This one is on the outside corner, called a strike. Looked like a little bit of a sidearm throw from Daniel Diaz. Diaz, a returning player for the Buccaneers. Didn't pitch that many innings in 2014, though. Ground ball fouled. And might have been fouled off the bat backwards. It was fouled off something. Maybe it was his wrist, but definitely not his ankle. But as we mentioned, Daniel Diaz is the pitcher, the eighth of the day for the Buccaneers. He's 6'4", 170. Here's the pitch. Called strike three on the outside corner. So 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and down goes Sagahan as Sebastian Sanchez comes to the plate. He's been in the whole game in that designated hitter spot. Hit by a pitch in the first innings, singled in the third, singled again in the fifth and scored, and then reached on a fielder's choice back in the sixth. Swings and misses at a fastball that was blown by him, and it's 0-1. So 4 pitches and 4 strikes here for Daniel Diaz. As we mentioned, only 11 and a third innings pitched last season. In those 11 and a third, though, swung on and fouled back towards the screen, and it's 0-2. And he'll head down to first base, so I believe we've had our second catcher's interference called, which you don't really see one called too often, and to see 2 in a game is surprising, but we've seen a lot in this game. It's 11-9, bottom of the 8th inning. And for Diaz, he has 5 pitches, and all 5 of them are strikes, but a man's on first base. Fastball high. I guess that was the old announcer jinx, where you say he has 5 pitches, 5 strikes, and then he comes with a ball. But anyways, as we were trying to say, tell that story that he only pitched 11 and a third for the Bucs last year, but in those 11 and a third, he struck out 11 hitters. Swung on and fouled back, and it's 1-1. So sticks on the board. You got 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, as the Buccaneers trailing by 2, hoping to shut down the Legends here in this inning. Runners off very early. Breaking pitch called a strike, and really the hitter had no chance on that one. Kind of got like that deer in headlight type thing. Basically moved his back backwards and it cut right over the plate. But the runner did advance to second, and it's 1-2. Diaz will take a little look over, but nobody covering. Wow, that's a fastball, and it's called strike 3. So that's 2 strikeouts now, both called for Daniel Diaz. And I have to say, you can see the speed on the fastballs. The MPHs are coming a lot harder from this right arm than they've come from a few of the other pitchers we've seen in this game. And Diaz, I guess he has a lot in him. He redshirted this year, so he didn't play this season. So he's feeling very good right now, as you're hearing that pop of the mitt really loud, as this one misses high and tight, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Diaz plays for Mount Sac. As we mentioned, a few players from Mount Sac on this team. Right down the street from Cal Poly Pomona. Swung on a miss, 1-1. And hometown of Chino Hills, went to Iola High School. So another, of course, local boy for the Buccaneers. Local to, of course, the Inland Empire Pomona area. Another nice breaking pitch. Misses low and away, though. But it's 2-1. But I say nice because you can just see the movement, how fast it's biting. The bottom of the ball just dropping out. Coming set. Here's Diaz, who once again checks, but nobody holding on. Called strike 2. And it's 2-2 here to Steven Castro. Excuse me, that's Trevor Steinman. Here's the 2-2. Called strike 3. So 3 strikeouts, all 3 of them called. And the side is retired here. In pretty impressive fashion by Daniel Diaz. What a good inning from him. And so that'll do it here for the bottom of the 8th inning. We head to the final frame. The Bucs are down to their final 3 outs. They trail by 2. Will they be able to make a comeback? Will they be able to rally? We'll find out in just a few moments. It'll be 8-9-1 in the lineup. That's Steer, Taylor, and Gale when we return on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the bloods run stale, I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Curtains call, it's the last of all. When the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl. So they dug your grave in the masquerade will come calling out in the mess you made. Don't wanna let you down, but I am hellbound. Oh, this is
And welcome back as we head to the top of the 9th inning. 11-9 the score. Buccaneers trailing the Legends. Here's the first pitch. Fastball at the knees, called a strike for the southpaw, Ariano. We've seen him actually in the game earlier do a lot of damage at the plate. The 6'2", 205-pound left-handed hitter. And it's now 0-2 quickly, as the home plate umpire said, yes, he did go. So it's exactly what you want to do if you're the closer for the Legends. Get to an 0-2 count, be able to mix it up a little bit, but this one is a fastball low for ball 1, 1-2 the count. Well, Connor Steer entered in the 5th inning. He's 0 for 2, struck out in the 5th and flew out to right field in the 7th inning, as it's now 2-2, and getting some words of encouragement from the dugout. Come on all the way back from somebody out there in the Bucs dugout. That's something that kind of might go a little bit unnoticed, especially if you're listening or watching at home. Ground ball down the third base line. Was wondering for a second if it would be one of those swinging bunts, but it won't be, as it goes foul about halfway in between home plate and third base down that third base line. So we'll do it again. Another 2-2 count to come here for Connor Steer. Connor Steer as we mentioned earlier, very short, small in stature, but let's see if he comes up large at the plate here in a pressure situation. And he has worked it all the way back to a full count after falling behind 0-2. So a great job by him to do that. And he's about to see the 7th pitch of the at-bat right now. Here it comes. Ground ball right side, another weird hop, a high hop. And he will get to first base. And we've seen on that right side of the infield so many ground balls just basically fly up. And I mean, it's like hard when you're trying to score it. It's like it should have been definitely a ground ball out to the right side, but the ball just literally shot up over the guy's head over at first base, and it wasn't an easy play to make. Line drive to center field. That was cracked, but right at the center fielder over there, and that is Sturmerhorn, and he will make the first out here of the inning. So that's line out to center field by Taylor, and we'll head back to the top of the lineup. And Brayer Gale, 2 for 3, couple singles, an RBI. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch in at the knees, called strike 1, 0-1 the count. We've got the middle infielders playing up the middle, meaning they're playing for double play depth to try to end this game. Here's the pitch. Line drive to the right field. That'll be a base hit. And staying put at second is Steer. Showing off his arm in right field is Harris, who hits the cutoff perfectly. And it'll be first and second, 1 out, top of the 9th, down by 2 runs. I mean, you couldn't, I mean, obviously you could ask for more in the sense that you want to win, but you can't ask for much more in the sense that you have the tying run on board now, and you have a guy who is your basically MVP of your team last year at the plate. He takes low, and I shouldn't say basically, I mean he was. So you could look at the stats, and he led the team in a number of categories, including batting average, which he had a .368 batting clip. And then this year, Kevin Riley, he's gotten on base 4 out of 5 times. The line is just one foul down the right field line, and it's 1-1. But doubled to left center back in the first inning and scored. Then he singled in the 3rd inning and wound up scoring. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th and once again scored. Then had an RBI single in the 5th. So he's a part of 4 of the 9 runs. Swings at this one low and fouls it back. As I don't think he's too excited with the fact that he swung at that pitch because it was definitely going to be a ball. But he's a guy that you watch him play enough, and you know more often than not, and you obviously hope this is not the announcer's jinx, but more often than not, he's a guy that's going to get bat on ball, one way or the other. Second baseman, kind of bluffing, you're trying to guess, and obviously, right when I say that, he swings and misses at a nasty breaking pitch, and that'll be the 2nd out of the inning here for the Buccaneers. And up comes Ryan Cordova, the number 3 hitter in the lineup. So Ryan Cordova, in his first game, well, it's everybody's first game for the Bucs, but his first game for Inland Valley baseball in general, overall, will have a chance to play a hero of some sorts. And he lines this to the right side, and that's going to be a base hit. And playing very conservatively is Kevin Bowler as he holds up Steer at 3rd. Throw comes in the plate. It was offline a little bit, you know, probably about 4 or 5 feet up the third base line. But Bowler deciding that he didn't want the game to end on a potential play at the plate. And now the bases are loaded here for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. So bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 runs scored, top of the 9th inning. And here comes Shamon Moss. He takes strike 1. Looked like it was an off-speed pitch. Looked like it was a little bit low too, but called a strike nonetheless. Rocking the open stance and the white gloves. Another off-speed pitch. This one misses low and inside, and it's a 1-1. So Shamon Moss, he's reached 3 times today, but actually doesn't have any hits. Line drive. This is going to be a hit to left center field. In comes 1 run. That's Steer. It's now 11-10. rounding third. Coming home to score is another. It's 11-11. We have an error in the outfield, and Cordova, all the way from first base, comes to score, and it's 12-11 Buccaneers. Wow, down to your final out. Unbelievable. Shannon Moss taking it all the way down the left center field. Line drive, absolutely scalded down to that left center 380 sign. And just like that, the Buccaneers take a 12-11 lead down to their final out here in the top of the ninth inning. And here comes Herschel Gardner, low and away. Ball one. 1-0 the count. Wow, Shannon Moss. Unbelievable. This one gets by the catcher, and that'll be a wild pitch, as heading to third will be Moss. So Moss with the double to left center field. And we know we've got the stream for the first time. I believe you should have been able to see that because it was hit right at that 380 sign, and I'm checking my screen right now, and I can see that there. So you probably saw that line drive straight out there in the left field. And then, as I mentioned, that was just blistered off the bat of the right-handed hitter from Chaffey College, Shannon Moss. Meanwhile, at the plate, Herschel Gardner draws another walk. He's had quite a few here today. Let's see what he's had here. He's got a walk, he's got 2 walks, an RBI single, and a couple ground ball outs, as well as a sac fly. Here's the pitch. Fastball low for ball 1 to Brendan Campbell. Brendan Campbell, he's 2 for 3. 3 RBIs and 2 singles, also a run scored. Swung on and missed, blown by him, and it's 1-1. So runners on the corners, top of the ninth inning. The Bucs now lead 12-11 in the top of the ninth inning, down to their final out. A 3-run base hit. Extra base hit, really. Ends up scoring 3 runs. Wow. And the Bucs down by 4 runs a couple times. The line drive straight at the second baseman, and that'll do it for Campbell. But the thing about Campbell is, even though he's out there, he is hitting the ball a lot better than last season already. You could tell from this first game. First of all, he has a couple hits, but even that time when he gets hit, he just hit it at the wrong person. He hit a line drive straight at that second baseman. But the top half of the ninth inning is over, and the Buccaneers have forced the bottom of the ninth by taking a 12-11 lead. They were down 11-9. I'm sure we might be talking now as Bowler talks to the home plate umpire about potentially, I mean, if the Legends do end up tying this thing up in the bottom of the ninth, do we have enough daylight to go extra innings? That would be an interesting question to make, but I mean, there's shade down the right field line and the left field line, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The Legends, believe it or not, have actually only had one run inning. So you would think that if they're going to score crooked numbers based on previous history here in this game. But the Buccaneers coming through with 3 runs to make it a 12-11 game here in the bottom of the ninth inning. So that never say die attitude, as that's something that you definitely like to see. Now it's going to be interesting to see, speaking of that, if the Bucs can hold on to this, because it's certainly been an adventure up until this point. But the Bucs have Randall Ortiz on the mound. He will be the closer for today. I think he's also the man that looks to solidify this victory. Here comes his last warm-up pitch, or maybe it was 2 more. It must have been 2 more that the home plate umpire said. So anyways, 6'4", 225-pound right-handed pitcher is Randall Ortiz. He plays for Fullerton College, so the 3rd Fullerton College pitcher we've seen in this game for the Inland Valley Pirates. He pitched in 24 1/3 innings this past season, a 1.85 ERA with the Hornets. 2-1 record, 5 saves, and 16 strikeouts. So definitely not a stranger to closing games out with 5 saves on the season at the junior college ranks. First pitch he throws a fastball low, ball 1, 1-0 the count. We were talking about Diaz and looking like he had a pretty strong fastball. Looks like this one that's coming off the right hand of Ortiz might be even a little bit faster, as the breaking pitch misses low, and it's 2-0 as Brendan Campbell will call for time and head out to the pitcher's bump. Give his pitcher a pat on the back and say, come on, you got this. Let's win this thing. In what was a wacky, wild game. And hopefully, for the Bucs' sake, you're hoping for no more plot twists. Here's the pitch. And this one's blown away. Ball 3, 3-0 the count. Well, we mentioned it earlier. You never, ever want to walk the leadoff hitter because the odds go up so drastically, as that's a 4-pitch walk, for a team to be able to score that leadoff runner when he, in fact, does reach on a walk. So the Legends do have a man on base. And here comes Devin Schermerhorn in the number 2 spot in the lineup for the Legends. Right-handed hitter, a pretty wide stance. Setting up on the outside corner is Campbell. And that's ball 1. So Ortiz comes in. 5 pitches, 5 balls so far. Got to figure that the Legends might have the take till first strike now that they've seen 5 pitches and 5 balls. Well, nothing's coming easy in this game for the Buccaneers. Working out of the stretch, here's the pitch. Ball 2, 6 pitches, 6 balls for Randall Ortiz. And Campbell calls for time, and so too does the manager, Kevin Bowler. And at this point, you got to figure, is there anybody else in the bullpen that even potentially could be loosening up and that they could even have? They've already thrown 9 guys, but there is somebody warming up down the right field line, and that is, I believe, there's a left-handed guy throwing, so that should be Diego Cortez. But actually, the man on the mound is right-handed. I knew that before the game there was Diego Cortez, and he was going to decide whether or not Cortez would get in, but there's a right-hander who's on the mound. It looks like that's playing catch. Maybe they're just playing catch. Maybe they're not really even warming up. Anyways, it's 2-0, and that's ball 3. So it's now 3-0 here for Randall Ortiz and the Buccaneers. And he's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat here if he wants to get this batter out, down 3-0. Right down Broadway for a strike. You wonder if the Legends might even take another strike just to see if Randall could prove that he could throw one. But then again, on a 3-1 pitch, you probably are sitting dead red on fastball, so you might want to take advantage of this. Right down the middle, ground ball right side over the steer. Steer gets the force at second, and that'll be the first out here in the inning. So a fielder's choice as Steer throws to Gale. And now Legends down to their final couple outs. Here's Angel Mora. Mora, he actually pitched in this game and has struggled a little bit. That was the inning there. Buccaneers scored 6 runs, but tried making up for it with a base hit in his last at-bat. He'd love nothing more than to get another base hit here as the pitch paints the outside corner. Called strike 1, 0-1 the count here. 12-11 the score. Top of the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning, I should say. 1 out. Large lead over at first, and then the runner goes, and he will steal second base safely. As I noticed, the runner was really creeping over there at first base, and he was off with the pitch. And Mora, to his credit, alertly, he might have wanted to swing at the pitch, and it was actually called the ball, but he thought better of it when he saw that his base runner had such a great jump. That's just smart baseball. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball left side. The runner's going to go. Backing up and retreating is Gale. Gale throws it sidearm across the diamond for the second out. So the runner actually advancing to third base on a ground ball to the left side, but there was really no play for Gale as it was hit high and kind of, it was a slow high bouncer. But we've got drama here. The tying run, 90 feet away. And here comes Jake Harris. Jake Harris is in the cleanup spot for the Legends, but he came in and replaced Ariano earlier in the game. Ariano was the guy who tried to close it out for the Legends in the top half of the ninth. Fastball grounded at home plate. The runner is going to come home, and there's going to be an error by the pitcher, and we've got a 12-12 tied game. Wow. The ball is hit maybe about 4 or 5 feet in front of home plate, and nobody can get to it. And it's a tied game. You wonder if it stays tied, if they're going to keep playing at 7:30. It might be maybe a half hour left, but the runner's off. Throw down the second, not in time. And so the Legends now, they're thinking we're going to win this game as they steal second base. And what has been a crazy game, and we can't stress the fact that it has been absolutely crazy. Anytime you look up and see a scoreboard as 12-12, you got to definitely think that. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses inside, ball 2-2-0 the count. Well, I know he had it scripted that he wanted 9 guys to pitch 9 innings, but after the way Diaz pitched that 8th, I was wondering if he was just going to leave him out because he looked so good. But no, he's staying to the script, as this one was fouled off the catcher, maybe off his mask or maybe off his, yeah, it must have been off his mask because he's readjusting it, is Brendan Campbell. Once again, home plate umpire walking the ball out to the pitcher and dusting off home plate just to kind of buy Brendan Campbell time, which is always a classy move by the umpire. You like to see it when the home plate umpires will definitely do stuff like that for their catchers. 2-1 the count, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning, 12-12 the score. The winning run is in scoring position at second base. This one's blown away, ball 3, 3-1 the count. We also have to think about if this did go into extra innings, but once again, the Legends do have a runner in scoring position. The fact that the Bucs really have nobody left to pitch, although we did mention Diego Cortez is here. This is going to be a ground ball up the middle. Gloving it is the shortstop, Gale. Sidearm throw, it's not there, and the run will come home to score, and the Legends walk off on an error made. I mean, it was really a tough play for Gale, but the ground ball to the left side, and you can't make the play. A wild game indeed, 13-12. Unfortunately, the wild side didn't come up well for the Bucs, as I can't even begin to describe what happened in this game, but wow. The Legends score on the play. Actually, a great play made by the shortstop to get there and glove it and make sure it didn't go into the outfield. And Gale throwing on the run, sidearm, throws a one-hopper over to first base, and first baseman can't handle it, and a run comes home to score, and it's a 13-12 final score. Well, if you want to kind of round it up, I mean, first of all, this is a long game in general. Remember, we started at we started at 4:26, so over a 3-hour game for the first game of the year. That doesn't happen too often, or in fact, ever in this league. You don't see very many 3-hour games in summer collegiate baseball, but this one was over. But anyways, after that, I mean, just the fact that you look up at the scoreboard and you see 13-12, I mean, anytime you see that in a baseball game, that's insane. But it was the Bucs who led 1-0. The Legends answered 4-1. Bucs cutting it to 4-2 in the third. Legends in the bottom half of the third, making it a 6-2 game. Then the Legends fighting all the way, or I should say the Bucs fighting all the way back to make it 8-6 in the top of the fifth. And then the Legends said, we're going to get you right back and score 4 in the bottom of the fifth and make it 10-8. No runs scored in the sixth. Then there was one scored by the Legends in the 7th that made it 11-8. Bucks cutting the deficit once again to 2 runs in the 8th as well, making 11-9. And then in the 9th, the Bucks, they take a 12-11 lead, score 3 runs in the top of the 9th, and the Legends just come back with 2 in the bottom of the 9th and win 13-12 on a play that was hit to the shortstop, ground ball, and it couldn't be handled by the first baseman. The runner on second base coming home all the way from second to score, and that'll do it here from Joe Hicks Memorial Field. It's not exactly the start the Inland Valley Buccaneers would have liked. Definitely fighting back and showing heart, but losing and ultimately falling in the end. 13-12 is the final here at Long Beach City College. We'll have a couple games for you tomorrow. That'll be the Pirates opening up the season with a doubleheader at Cal Poly Pomona. Should have a 2 o'clock start for the first and a 5 o'clock for the second game, or thereabouts. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers will be back at it on Wednesday. Their doubleheader is going to be an interesting one, where you're going to have a 10 a.m. start and then a 1 p.m. second game. So an early doubleheader for you on Wednesday. We're going to have more games on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. We're going to have a doubleheader Saturday for sure. We're going to have a Pirates game on Thursday from Citrus College. And Friday looks like it might be a doubleheader as well. We'll give you details and keep you updated if we end up broadcasting both of those games. But it looks like there's going to be 2 Buccaneers games, one in Orange County and one in Inland Valley Buccaneer game on Friday. So that's kind of how the week is looking and rounding out here for the Buccaneers. And once again, this is Dave Soberi. The final score, 13-12 Legends. So glad that you could listen, and we hope to see you again very soon.